Hello, welcome to a live stream. We are here at What's Therapy Corp, ready to watch an interesting video today, and this will actually be a bit of a post-video follow-up. You may have noticed I released a new video last weekend. We all had a good time. We were talking about relationships, healthy relationships, advice, all that good stuff. And I realized, why don't I look at an example of a relationship? You know what I mean? Like, if we're talking about healthy relationships, why don't I look at an example of a relationship? And we could use that as a jumping off point. So here, you may have heard of these folks. This is a couple, and they are actually YouTubers as well. So I have a lot in common with them in that one respect. And they've been making headlines lately a little bit. So I wanted to I thought, okay, well, look at them. You know, they've got this. So it says Harmonious Twin Flame Union. So that's good. I think that means being in love, essentially. We'll have to find out if that's the same thing as a healthy relationship. I'm pretty sure it is, but that's going to be a question. But I thought, we'd look at this couple and we'd say, okay, let's take all that talk. My video was a 5-hour video. I will admit it was a 5-hour video. I apologize for that. I had no control over that. I was forced to make a 5-hour video. But, I thought one thing that wasn't looked at was how does a healthy relationship actually look? And I thought we'd look at these folks. Just checking the audio, making sure we're all good here. I know this is a surprise stream, so we might not get too many folks out, and that's fine. If you're watching this in the future, this was a live stream. I hope you're doing well in the future. I hope all the world's problems are resolved by then and so on. So I just wanted to do this. Let's see what we got here. I don't know that we'll watch the whole thing, but there's a lot of good stuff, and I thought it would be a great way to understand what is a healthy relationship. Let's look at a specific example. Okay. So how do we all feel about that? Do we feel good? Now, one thing I'll just mention while you might get some feedback for a second. Okay, I'm just pulling up the chat. One thing I will mention is this couple, the reason they're especially good to look at for our purposes here is that they've been through a lot together. And, that can really be difficult for people when you're going through a relationship. Healthy, unhealthy, doesn't matter. Still tough to get through things together, right? And they've been through a fair bit together. Now, what have they been through together? Just the normal stuff that most couples go through, like the ups and downs. They had a documentary made about them by Netflix, but that's I'd say a normal couples thing. They also did have a documentary made about them by Amazon. So that is also a challenge for any couple to go through. I'd say every couple has that stage in their relationship where they have a documentary made about them by Amazon or Netflix, but it's not usually both. You know what I mean? So it presents some interesting challenges for this couple. Also, they did have another documentary made about them. And I've seen all of these. So I do have the background research. This was the best one, this Canadian one. Amazing journalism. And then they've had articles written about them in the past. That's all discussed in the documentaries. So that's just tough. You know what I mean? Hard for anyone to go through. I'd say the biggest challenge to their relationship lately is probably the Michigan Attorney General saying that she's investigating them. The state of Michigan, you never want the state to be looking into your relationship. It can really put a lot of pressure on a relationship. And the Attorney General, unfortunately, in Michigan is going to be looking into them, is already looking into them. So with all that being said, let's try to put that all aside and just understand, how do healthy partners get through tough times, whether it's, Netflix documentary, Amazon documentary, whatever it might be. So how do we get through it? And we're going to be hearing, now this is from 7 days ago. So this is after, you know what I mean? All this stuff has dropped. The Attorney General's investigating them. And they're still out here trying to say, let's tell you about our love. So in line with my research into relationships, I thought it would be the perfect time to talk about love. And here's this one example. So let's look at this. let me know in the chat if you're familiar with these folks, if you've heard about their situation, and also let's see if their love is healthy, because it's a harmonious twin flame union. Is that a healthy relationship? I don't know. Let's find out. Okay.
Today we're going to talk about our harmonious twin flame union. Talk about our relationship.
Yes.
What goes on behind the scenes.
So that's great. You would think they've talked about their relationship before. They probably have, but they're like, this is going to be the focus of the talk. Okay.
What's it like being in a harmonious twin flame union? What's it like to actually have the thing that so many people are after?
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Is it worth the effort required to manifest it? And what's it like when you actually get it?
Is that the questions people are wondering about relationships? Like, is it worth it? I don't know. Maybe.
So we've got some questions that we got prepared here. Some questions, and we can check those out as well.
Yeah, it might be helpful.
So the real also, it's a podcast, so we got our tea today.
Oh, I totally feel that. Yeah, you got to be drinking some water. Tea.
I've got the Simpsonized version.
Thought it was just me on the mug.
It's a Shaleia mug.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
So, I will say, if you're not familiar with twin flames, this couple did not come up with the expression twin flames. It has other places it came from. It's sort of just another way to say soulmate. I know people who are passionate about the twin flames concept would disagree about. Basically, it's just the idea that like you're really meant to be with this person. So I talked in my video, I don't really believe in the idea of a soulmate. I don't believe in the idea of a single soulmate. I believe in the idea of many soulmates. I mean, I don't personally think about things that way, but if you're going to believe in the concept of a soulmate, I wouldn't believe that there's only one. That seems like a little bit of a scarcity mentality. But they were promising their followers, and probably still are, certain things like, we will definitely help you find your twin flame, which I think is a bit over-promising. I heard that they were promising that. I didn't see it firsthand. But they've basically had this online community for a long time where they run this YouTube channel, they run another YouTube channel, and they have all these different courses people pay for. They have like communities, Facebook groups, blah, 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 where people talk to each other, which is great. The allegations of a cult really come from allegations of coercive control and some troubling ways that they are alleged to have behaved towards their followers, alleging that they were getting free labor from them, exploiting them, and so on. So there's all kinds of weird allegations, and that can come in between any healthy relationship. So let's see how they're handling the stress.
Yeah, I think this is a really important thing, is we want to kind of peel back the veil in our life a bit and just talk about...
I mean, the Attorney General is going to be peeling back the veil on your life. But yeah, it's good to do yourself as well.
What it's actually like. Mm-hmm. I think there are two very popular conceptions about twin flames. One is that it's your ultimate lover, and it's this really high level divine romance.
Okay.
And that is true. And then the second one, the popular conception about twin flames, is that...
Look, I'm not going to, I'm a therapist, but I'm not like a body language expert, if that's even a real thing. I will say I noticed a little tension. There's a little bit of squinting. There's some tension. That's okay. We all get tense sometimes. It's good to just relax, chill out,
It's toxic. It's challenging. It's difficult. And I'm not going to disagree with that either, because it is challenging. If you're unprepared, it can be toxic. But we have found a way to create what we call, what we pioneered as harmonious twin flame union.
Okay, so they didn't come up with the concept of twin flames, okay? But they did come up with the concept of harmonious twin flame union. And now you might be asking, what's the difference? Isn't that obviously implied? If I find my twin flame, isn't it implied that I'm going to be in harmonious union with them, how is that really changing anything? But, you know, that's just your opinion, and maybe there is a lot that we're going to learn about that. There's two different ways of seeing twin flames. I didn't really feel seen in that, you know, because I don't know, like the idea that you either see it as this amazing thing or you see it as a toxic or potentially toxic thing. I feel like those are a little bit of two sides of the same coin. I'm sort of in the camp of like, what are we talking about? Is this the same thing as love, a healthy relationship, and so on? I will say the only time I ever heard of the concept twin flames prior to this, because I don't really move. I mean, I move a little bit in like spiritual circles, but not that much. A client mentioned it to me actually years ago, and they mentioned to me about being twin flames, and they told me about the concept, and they thought they might be twin flames with someone, and they told me that the concept of twin flames is inherently associated with toxicity or just like turbulence and a challenging relationship. So to me at the time, I remember thinking like, I don't know. I don't want people to have a concept of how a relationship should be that makes them tolerate more than the normal amount of like toxicity. But, you know, they're not. Anyways, you could sort of rephrase what they're saying as like love comes with its challenges and so on, but that doesn't sound as good. So harmonious twin flame union. Now, I'll just say, I didn't necessarily come out and say this in my 5-hour relationship video. I've been in love before. I know what love is. I've been in deep love. I've been like, I found my person before. Sometimes it doesn't always work out. You know what I mean? And that's okay. It's healthy to let things go sometimes, as James Corden explained to us. But yeah, I've been in love. I know what it's like. It feels amazing. It absolutely does come with its challenges. I mean, I'm not the person to use words like harmonious twin flame union, but I think it's chill if that's how you think about things. It doesn't really matter what words you use at the end of the day most of the time. But listen, I just want to learn about their relationship. You know what I mean? Are there a lot of clips where they seem like he's being a little harsh to her and it's a little tense? Yeah, there are clips. You can see those in the multiple documentaries made about them. But, oh my God. You gotta watch this where they get interviewed. Maybe we'll watch that at some point. Okay, but it's talk about being unprepared. Whew.
Which is where the core place where your union lives, it's harmonious and it's peaceful. And you essentially live one life together. Mm-hmm. So
okay,
we'll go into all that. What is it really like being in union every day?
It's normal.
That was just really funny because it seemed like she was sort of asking that in a rhetorical sense, and she was going to continue, and he just responded immediately in a way that really took the wind out of the sails. If it's normal to be in harmonious twin flame union every day, you might ask why even use the expression harmonious twin flame union. But okay.
You get acclimated to anything, right? If you live in a hovel, you get acclimated to that. That becomes normal. If you live in a mansion and have a helicopter. And
I was watching a YouTube video about them last night by the channel, I think it was like Coffee and Cults. It might have been a different channel, I'm sorry. And it might be Cults and Coffee, I don't remember. But they found there was a quote of them saying that they give back to people like once they became wealthy by driving their fancy cars around and letting people see it, and that's giving back to people. There was like a quote of them saying that. So, interesting sort of relationship to money, I would say. And you don't want money to get in the way of your relationship, you know? So hopefully they're on the same page with money, because money can be a big cause of tension in this world where we have to work just to meet our basic needs. It can be a big source of stress, obviously, for people.
Private jet, that becomes normal to you. It's your norm.
Yeah.
But, you know, I knew we were going to talk about this, and it reminded me of some dreams I've had, you know, not recently, but I used to have dreams that...
Why does he have headphones on and she doesn't? That's kind of interesting. Does she have, like, AirPods on, or why does he wear headphones on? It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I mean, I wear headphones a lot when I'm doing video calls and stuff, but yeah, you do want to not, unless you have to.
That I I wasn't in a relationship with you anymore. And so
and your life sucked, I bet.
all I could think about was
That was funny. That was a funny moment.
like creating that relationship again and filling that space in my life.
Yeah.
That
Sorry, I need lip gloss.
got to do the lip gloss.
It's like the feminine urge.
No, that's fine. It's not a sign that you want to break up with your partner if you have a dream where you're breaking up with them. It could be, but it could also very much not be. Dreams are complicated. There's a lot of different ways to interpret them.
Gloss your lips.
Okay, I'm getting a lot of tension. I'm getting a lot of nervous tension. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's the Michigan Attorney General hanging over their head, investigating them. I don't know if it's the 3 documentaries that have been made about them. But I am sensing a little bit of tension, and that can be hard for any couple to manage. So let me know if you're sensing tension in the chat. I'm not trying to project too much here. Maybe I'm tense. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm tense. Maybe they're super chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
That's it. I'm just going to leave it right there.
Okay, just in case you get the urge again.
Yep.
Okay.
No, it would be really bizarre. Here's an interesting aspect of things. So they've been doing this for years, having this organization that they run. That is interesting. I talked about this in my video a little bit, like when you're in different roles with your partner. Like you could be, you live together, so you're essentially housemates as well as lovers, as well as potentially parents, as well as, in this case, coworkers. As well as not just coworkers, but like coworkers who the entire functioning of their business relies on their relationship succeeding and looking very great. I would have a lot of respect for them, actually, if they or people like them, if they divorced and still continued. Not that I'm saying they should divorce, but continue, the honesty that would be required to be our relationship's not working out, but we still think everything we're saying is valuable. I'm not sorry. That sounds like I'm trying to say they should get divorced. That's not my point at all. My point is it's a weird amount of pressure to have your business rely on the apparent amazingness of your relationship. That would put a lot of pressure on a relationship for sure.
So, yeah, I had dreams that I was single, and I just all I could focus my mind on was how to get back into my harmonious union again. Aww. Because it's a safe thing. It feels really safe. It feels like home. It feels like...
Now, I have yet to hear anything about a harmonious twin flame union that makes it different than what I call love.
Like my natural state of being. It, once you arrive there, it's you've done it. Mm-hmm. You don't, before you're in harmonious union, there's this drive to, get there.
Okay, so I've been in love 3 times. Would I say that all 3 were harmonious twin flame unions? Let me think about that. There are definitely points in all 3 of them when I felt that they were harmonious twin flame unions. I'm just appropriating that term. When, but really no. And sometimes you realize that you weren't that, you weren't in love and you thought you were in love. And then you're maybe we just cared about each other and had good chemistry in certain ways, but maybe we weren't in love. You sort of think about it maybe we didn't really feel as connected. Sometimes experience helps you reflect on stuff like that. So as far as a lasting feeling of being in love, I would say I only felt that in one of the 3, but that's not totally true because really there were a lot of points in the other 2 where I did feel that. There were just a lot of other feelings that I would say were signs that it wasn't really gonna be. So again, this is warped by memory and stuff like that, but I do get the idea that not every loving relationship is a certain amount of depth of intimacy. That might be what they're calling harmonious twin flame union, but to me those big words don't really help. To me it's more are you in love versus loving? In love sort of helps characterize it as a certain amount of depth that you're sharing with each other, but really it's just another way to phrase it. But yeah. So have y'all been in love? What terms do you like to use to talk about your love?
Yeah.
Right. It's you're thirsty. Yeah. And you need to go get water.
It's a primal drive too. To heal separation, find your twin flame, be
It is a primal drive to find connection with people. I agree.
with your twin flame, marry.
I mean, some people are asexual, some people, but there's a drive to be intimate in terms of connecting deeply with people. I mean, most people have that. Not everyone. There's always differences.
Your twin flame. Yeah, I felt
I
like,
like her tattoo, honestly. I'm kind of curious about what it is. But
I remember that thirsty feeling and the loneliness too, like just wanting someone to know me. And I felt like when we got together, it was really like that was satiated, and my idea that it was going to be a very like romantic relationship and romantic encounter that was definitely fulfilled.
it's weird that he's giving these verbal nods to everything she's saying. I would just be like, calm down a little bit. Sorry, what did I just do?
Romantic encounter that was definitely fulfilled. And because when I was living in Sedona, Arizona, if you guys heard our origin story,
I did. I actually heard it in 3 separate documentaries. And I will soon hear it in the Michigan Attorney General's filing once they get that together.
Podcast ago, I talked about how I was learning to do the inner work, the mirror exercise, and feeling your feelings, and a bunch
I'm getting a lot of tension from this fella's face over here, Mr. Jeff.
Techniques, spiritual and healing techniques.
It's good practice to relax your face muscles. A lot of times we hold tension in the face. It's good to relax your face muscles,
As well.
Like this. Sorry.
That I feel like that really did prepare us, and then you got on board. You met Altona. You learned about the work.
What did they do? Rob a bank. So I will just briefly say again, because I know not everyone's here, and they have been running an organization for a long time where they basically give advice to people about how to find their love, but they've done it in ways that some people really find very cult-like. Using coercive control has been an allegation to try to influence their followers to pursue people in ways that were not helpful is an allegation. Pushing their followers to think about themselves differently in very deep and fundamental ways. Having people work for free. These are allegations. I haven't substantiated any of these. But yeah, those are the allegations that they, overpromised. It's really interesting the difference between people paying a lot of money for something expensive and people paying a lot of money for something that they're being promised certain things about. So I think part of the allegations are also allegations related to overpromising what they can provide. Now, it's hard to say if you're promising people fall in love. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. But you can watch lawyers talk about this. I watched an interview recently. But yeah, if you're over-promising, that does sometimes slip into the realm of fraud. But there's honestly a wide array of allegations. It's really fascinating. I would recommend watching these documentaries. They're very interesting, especially this one's for free on YouTube. Really, really interesting. And, they got people that were in the organization talking about, they started like a church. So they're a church, but they said apparently on video recording, they allegedly said that they were starting the church just to avoid paying taxes. But that's an allegation that I think I heard on video camera. They said really weird stuff about their daughter. That's just like so strange. They want their daughter to grow up to be celibate. Like they probably don't believe that anymore, but they were saying such messed up stuff. It's like they specifically did IVF because they wanted to have a girl, because they always wanted to have a girl. I think that's messed up. Do IVF if you need to, but like, I don't want to grow up with parents who wanted me to be the gender that I am. I don't want to grow up with that. I don't want to feel that pressure. Oh, I'm like, you wanted me to be a particular way? Like, ironically, one of the allegations against them, sort of ironic or aligned with what I was just saying, is that they were using coercive control, allegedly, to influence their followers, some of them, to actually transition their gender. And these documentaries do a good job. Some of the YouTube channels don't do a good job. it's obviously very different than being trans. You know what I mean? It's important to communicate that. Like, this is not people who were trans. This is them. Well, who knows? I don't know all the background, but the allegations are that it was them telling people to change their gender in several instances to make it so that they could get their followers to match up with each other in heterosexual dynamics, because that's more spiritually aligned or something. And like, some of those people did transition and some of them just left, and like, maybe the people who did transition are actually trans, and they were, you know, it was helpful for Jeff and Shaleia to explain to them, you know, to rethink their gender. But there are allegations that they actually repeatedly told people, you are not this gender, you are that gender, in ways that were very forceful. So those are allegations, really bizarre, obviously different than being trans. Being trans is cool and normal. It's not cool and normal for someone to tell you what your gender is, though, obviously. Anyways, these are all allegations. And look, every couple has to go through things like this, right? So let's see how they're handling it.
I was doing, and it changed your life. But it was still challenging, and it is still challenging. Like, what is it really like being in union every day? It's a challenge, but it's a happy challenge. There's no one I would rather have challenge me or be challenged by. I feel like that challenge,
that's all very true of love, for sure,
is a driver for my growth.
And obviously, like I said in my video, you have to kind of be a good metric for when that challenge becomes way beyond what it should be. You know, when it's beyond challenging and when it's like not going anywhere.
And for my personal transformation and for my spiritual goals, which is ascension or union with God. Union is just it's a very simple concept. It's, you know, when one thing unites with another thing.
It's sort of the most complicated thing while being simple. And I remember in philosophy, I think it's like when we would read these Socratic dialogues and stuff, I think that ended up feeling like one of the most fundamental things that they were exploring in the Socratic dialogue, Socrates, Plato, and all them, was how does one become two? How do two become one? And I think there's something very deep about that being like almost like a fundamental question in relating to evolution, relating to all kinds of things. So it's simple, but it's also, I feel like, extremely deep and not simple. But yeah, I agree with. I don't know if I agree with her point, but it's just interesting to think about. That is a very complicated thing. Now, I would say the real challenge in love is that two are becoming one while staying separate, because you're not becoming one. You're becoming one in one sense, but you're very much staying separate in another sense. You are never fully going to become one. So that's the challenge, really. I think most people who have been in relationships would agree, like, and even in family relationships or professional, like, you're becoming one in the sense that you're joining forces for something or you're a part of something together, and you also need to be separate. You are always separate, and you need to respect how you're separate. You need to respect aspects of you that are not fulfilled by the relationship, or certainly you don't want to expect every need to be fulfilled by the relationship. So I don't know. Is harmonious twin flame union, does that mean that every need you have is fulfilled by the relationship? Probably not. But I don't know. It's a lot of highfalutin language.
That's what union is. And for me, I found my twin flame, and we were always one at the core, even in separation. And then we healed the illusion of separation. And we never needed to go back into separation. This was kind of an interesting question that comes up to us. Like,
a lot of people on YouTube ask us.
A lot of people even question if we're
You're not twin flames because you didn't separate.
Because we didn't have a re-separation.
Okay, so that might align with what I was saying about like the concept of twin flames. So maybe among people who think about twin flames, that's an inherent part of it, is that you have this like really disturbed separation and then you get back together. I don't know. To me, that's not helpful. to build in a concept like that. But it is funny that they seem to be like, because they're trying to set themselves apart from twin flames to show why you should be following them and listening to them. But they also need to be aligned enough with the twin flames world so that they appeal to the types of people that would pay for their services or care about what they're saying and so on.
And the truth is that neither of us wanted that. We felt that the majority of our life we were in separation, and it was a really awful feeling. It was more awful than being together and having our challenges and needing to figure it out. We would much rather do it together because we love each other.
Sure, that's very normal, and some would say probably obvious. Okay.
And that love is what bonds us, and it's what drives us deeper into the core of our souls and into our ascension journey. And so
so like their whole thing involved like these ascension coaches that would work underneath them allegedly and give like a huge percentage of the money they generated from their coaching, unlicensed coaching, allegedly huge amount, apparently like a huge percentage, allegedly. So it was very much seeming to the to an observer, an uninformed observer might say, that sounds like a multi-level marketing scheme. That's what an uninformed observer might think, allegedly.
You know, we're not afraid of twin flames, and we're not like afraid of our union, and it's only gotten, in many ways, it gets easier the more and more we do our inner work. Like our relationship is a spiritual practice, and I think that that's the approach that is appropriate to take if you're on your twin flame journey. It's a spiritual practice, being with your twin flame. And it should come to as no surprise to you. If you don't want that, like, I think that's what a soulmate is for. If you just kind of want easy street, like...
What? Come on. Come on. That's how they're setting themselves apart from soulmates. Just admit it's a soulmate. No, like, that's not what people... That's not... You can't just make that up. No one says that part of us, what a soulmate means is that it's easy the whole time. That would be a mistaken idea about soulmates, just like it would be a mistaken idea about twin flames. That's how they try to separate themselves from soulmates? That's a little bit forced, I would say.
If you want a shallow relationship, if you want it to not be so challenging in
if you don't really want to be pushed to grow,
psychologically triggering way,
if you don't want change,
right?
If you don't want evolution, if you don't really, if you don't really want a lot from your relationship,
then find a soulmate. Yeah, okay, dude.
Soulmate's the way to go.
Wow, guys. Wow. I don't know. Maybe they believe this. Like, maybe this is the world they live in, that's what soulmate means to them. That's not what soulmate means to most people. Soulmate means sort of like everything you're saying about twin flames.
Yeah.
And
we're not judging.
Person.
We're not judging. It's just clearly worse, and you won't be growing.
It's about what you want in life.
Yeah, if you don't want to grow, we don't judge. But if you don't want to grow, find your soulmate or whatever.
We've known people that were with their twin flame and then separated to go be with a soulmate because they just found it too hard. They just weren't.
So that was the other really weird thing about their group, according to the documentaries I saw. They would tell people who their twin flame was. Even if they didn't have any of the allegations that are making the Michigan Attorney General look into them, it was still very bizarre to me to even tell your followers, even if it wasn't matching up followers with each other, you know what I mean? I'm pulling back a lot. Even if it's just telling a follower, they would talk to someone and their follower would go, well, I met a guy yesterday or last week, and I don't know, maybe he's my twin. And they would talk about it for a few minutes, and then they would be like, that's your twin flame for sure. Even if they weren't trying to say that God told them or whatever, don't don't intrude in someone's life like that. I don't know. If you want to believe in the concept of twin flames, you should believe that you know best who your twin flame is.
Ready, maybe. And we're just like, that's okay. Like, take your time. You know, you'll get there eventually because this is eternity.
So when they say that someone they know left their twin flame for a soulmate, that just means that they don't think. Like, the person they're talking about probably doesn't see it that way. Maybe they do. But it feels like Jeff and Shaleia are saying, we think they left someone that we think is their frickin' twin flame.
We're here for the people who want it now, and
I really think all these concepts are not helpful, and you should just try to feel close to people.
That's whom we serve. So, yeah, I think, you know, our life is very routine. You know, we wake up around the same time every day.
What time? Wait, is it early or late? Come on.
Get our daughter up together. Well, I get our daughter up, and then you come meet us after she's done with her routine, and then we all go downstairs to breakfast together. And then, you know, our mornings are like after that, you know.
If the way they're describing it makes it sound like they have a really big house, they do have a really big house. That's why it's like we go down for breakfast.
Grace goes.
And I'll tell you who's salivating over that really big house. The state of Michigan. The state of Michigan is like, I want that house. And they might get it.
On her way, she has a nanny, and then we go to work. And my work in the morning is focused pretty much exclusively on self-care.
Oh, wow. We go to work. By which I mean I practice self-care.
I am ADHD and I have autism, and
obviously self-care is incredibly important, but that's not usually your job, right?
So exercise is a really important part of
it. Should be. Don't get me wrong. It should be all of our jobs to just take care of ourselves. And in a sense, it is work. Like, you are doing labor when you're taking care of yourself. It's just not usually what people mean when they say, start my day, I go to work.
My life. It's what keeps me balanced. A large portion of what keeps me balanced, as well as getting really good sleep. So, and food. The three essentials in life we all need.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And water, for sure.
I need that. So that's kind of like what my morning is. And, you know, Jeff and I are chatting all the way along. Usually we always ask, you know, how was your sleep? Did you have any dreams? We find dreams to be very revealing. Yeah, it's a medium where God talks to us. It's all over the Bible too, how God talks to people in dreams.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, if that's your belief, I respect you with that. I just wouldn't want, you know, so when Jeff had a dream, I don't want to talk about Jeff's dream. You know, I just think the idea that God is talking to you through your dreams, like, is something that you should be careful about how you believe that, because a dream could mean many different things. And so if you believe in God, God could be saying many different things to you. So I guess I recommend a little bit of skepticism as you're parsing through, well, did God mean this? Did God mean that? But hey, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, God, I guess, isn't God always speaking to you through everything? Why would it, but yeah, okay. I mean,
and I'm sure in other religions
hold
as
on.
well.
God, I'm in the middle of something. Yeah, no, I'm live streaming. Could you hold that thought? No, I understand. No, I'll be done in. I'm in the middle of live stream. I have a live audience. There's 13 people, God. I'll talk to you later. No, all right, I love you. Okay, bye.
There. So we'll talk about our dreams when we're waking up, or usually at the dinner breakfast table. And
it's probably the same table. You know what I mean? They're not that rich. They probably eat dinner or breakfast at the same table.
Sometimes, like, we butt heads, like, throughout the day, like every day, like, there is definitely, like, moments of tension that we have and where we butt heads, or,
you know, like, sometimes I'll say to Jeff, like, hey man, I really wish you didn't say on a recorded video call to our former employee that you're going to start a church for tax purposes because that's leading to a lot of problems. You know, like we have resentments towards each other sometimes. Yeah.
We're triggered. And, you know, we communicate how we're feeling, or we communicate a boundary, or like we both need space. And so we go and we take our space, and that's really healthy. I think in any relationship, you need your space. And then, you know, we come back together, we talk about how we were feeling.
That's true that in any relationship, it's totally normal to need space. You come close, you go apart, you know. So.
We talk about the issue, and it usually like resolves itself. I find.
What are we doing?
Don't you find?
It's not resolving itself. I'm working on it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it does resolve itself.
I was already confused, and then his response just made me way more confused. She's just vaguely talking about the idea of having a conflict and then getting over it, and then he just says that he's still working on it, which is very confusing. I don't know what he's referring to. I don't know if he knows what she's referring to. I don't know if they know what each other's referring to.
It resolves itself. I find. Don't you find?
It's not resolving itself. I'm working on it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it does resolve itself.
It does resolve, yeah.
Between, like, the two
Not without
of us.
effort.
No, but, like, between the...
Jeff, what are you talking about? Because I think you seem to have something on your mind. What are you talking about?
The two of us, it gets resolved.
Right.
I think
He has a nice smile. Very nice teeth. I wish I had teeth that were that white. What can you do? You know what I mean? We all have our flaws.
a lot of the butt heading, it's just like small things.
I bet if I was rich, I'd have teeth like that.
And we'll get into the major thing that we're working through. There is a major conflict at the moment.
Oh shit! Oh no! It's not related to the Michigan Attorney General, is it? Are they going to go into that? The hardest moments, lovers, and second. What did she say?
Thing that we're working through. And we'll get into the major thing that we're working through.
Gotta be the Michigan Attorney General, right?
There is a major conflict at the moment, but a lot of the little things are just kind of more menial things. It's nothing that where there's a value clash, and if there's a clash in values, that's a serious red flag, I think, in any relationship. You should. This is why we encourage in our work. We talk about the love list, being very clear about your values. But our values, they've never really clashed.
They always evolve together.
They've always evolved, and they've also always remained the same. So we're very clear in our values, but...
I mean, it's obvious, but that's really not... I mean, things can't always evolve and always stay the same. I mean, and really in a relationship, you just have to be growing together. Kind of that simple.
So
it doesn't have to be the same. It's just, relatively aligned,
You know, the major conflict that we've been working through, or the challenge, is, a couple videos back. It was like our second podcast. We came out as neurodivergent.
Oh, okay. Never mind. My bad. The big thing they're working on is not the fact that the Attorney General of the state they live in is investigating them and the organization they've been running for years. It's actually something else. So my mistake, I jumped to conclusions there. That's called a JTC, a jump to conclusion. And I will never do that again. So I'm sorry.
I have autism and ADHD.
Nice.
And I'm HSP, a highly sensitive person.
Okay, that's not a clinical thing. Oh wait, who came up with that again? I forget. Actually, was that a clinical thing? Elaine Aaron, highly sensitive people, coined in the mid 1990s. I don't remember actually. Is it a? Okay, maybe it is a clinical term. You know what? I won't speak out of turn. My mistake. I don't. Okay, a correlation between low resting heart rate. Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay, maybe highly sensitive person is a clinical term. My mistake. I don't know. I don't know that much about it, I guess. But yeah, autism, ADHD. I mean, these things can certainly be things you have to know about yourself. We talked so much in the video about self-awareness in relationships and how important it is to understand yourself and to be able to communicate about yourself, to have insight about yourself, and knowing, whether you have a diagnosis or just particular things about you. You have to understand yourself really well so you can communicate with your loved ones about who you are and how you work and what you need and so on. So
Jeff is HSP, and he's also highly gifted, which is a thing. Apparently, I didn't even know.
Okay, that one's not a clinical category. I'm not looking into that.
It's a thing.
And it's not like things are only real if they're clinical. I'm just like, when I say clinical, I mean like, has it been studied? Has it been in any way studied in any sort of methodologically, deliberate way? So gifted, definitely not. And you're gifted too, Shaleia. It's not just Jeff. We're all gifted. What did you say?
Also highly gifted, which is a thing. Apparently, I didn't even know.
Yep, it's a thing.
And so, it was really interesting. So
Sorry, I don't feel like highly gifted falls into that same category because like ADHD, autism, HSPs, you have pros and cons. Highly gifted doesn't sound like it has any cons. It doesn't really sound like something you would need to like communicate to your partner about, hey, come on, I'm highly gifted, I'm having a rough morning, like could you...
with discovering back in April of this year that, me in particular, quite neurodivergent, I've been going through an unmasking. And so all the thoughts and feelings and traumas, like the masking is a trauma response. Mm-hmm. And you can mask as an ADHDer.
Sure, yeah, that's an interesting point. I usually hear about masking with autism, but I guess I could understand how an ADHD person trying to present could essentially be masking their aspects of ADHD. I wouldn't just point blank say that masking is a trauma response, but it's a response to some amount of stress, and trauma is a heightened amount of stress. So I understand sort of the point there, but masking, by the way, is just when it's what it sounds like. It's like often used to describe autistic people trying to act allistic, trying to fit in a society that can often be ableist, it's a really important concept to understand because it's just like chronic stress that autistic people can deal with, of feeling like they always have to kind of have a mask on, and it can be really challenging.
And I'm sure others. I can only speak from my perspective of having, those two things. It's a trauma response because I was conditioned to be neurotypical. Like many of us, all of us that are neurodivergent were, kind of conditioned that way. You're born into a neurotypical world and you're treated as a neurotypical, and that's enforced upon you. So you're like just born with a mask on. So it's just been like about peeling all of that back for myself, and I've gone through some identity crises and grief and anger and joy and happiness as well, and confusion. It's gotten a lot better though. I moved through it real fast, but I know like that's been challenging for us, and challenging for you. Yep. So that's been kind of the
Yeah, it's interesting. It does sound like, to a lot of extent, like what they're describing right now is obviously such a normal type of thing that does come up in relationships, like people dealing with their own stuff. How do you navigate it together? It's such a normal thing. I wonder what that's like to navigate within the context of navigating all these extremely abnormal things of running this very weird business together that's gotten them into a lot of potential trouble. It must be hard to like just focus on the normal relationship stuff. Like, I imagine there's so much resentment about the situation they're in and what each of them had a role in. I don't know what each of their roles were, frankly.
The primary relationship challenge that we've been going through is, in a way, like I'm not the same person that he married, although he knows my soul and he knows me at my core, and that hasn't changed. But everything else on the outside is changing because I'm finally living my truth, and I'm living more as my authentic self, which
I'm happy for you, Shaleia. That's awesome. I don't know. That's kind of sad to say that you're not the same person he married, but that's happens. I mean, he's not the same person you married to a similar extent, probably, maybe to a different extent. But that certainly happens. We change slowly.
I live autistic and I live ADHD versus before April, I wasn't living that way. I was living more neurotypical, and I would have my meltdowns and whatnot, or like I'd just be off all day, but I could still kind of manage it in a way. I don't know. I don't think I managed it that well even before, but
You functioned.
I functioned, yeah.
When we were like earlier on, when it was fight or flight all the time and survival,
Yeah.
you were like fine. Relationship was perfect. We never had any real clashes. Like,
No.
It was when it
Then why was it fight or flight? I don't understand.
got hard in life, it got really easy in our relationship.
Yeah.
And when I got easy in life, our relationship got much harder.
Yeah.
And
But it is getting hard in life right now for you two, isn't it? I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn, but it seems like a tough time, I would imagine.
think that
Because that's where the work was. We just, wherever the work is where we focus.
Well, that's really the key to Harmonious Twin Flame Union, I think. It's that the point of it is soul growth. And soul growth is not like just sit and meditate and you feel better. Like if you're living this twin flame ascension path that we walk and that we teach, it's about self-improvement and the improvement of yourself that manifests as an improvement in your life. So in reality, we're just a team working together to improve our life.
Yeah.
And right now the big challenge is the unmasking that's going on.
And so despite that being like the biggest conflict in our relationship right now, which is smoothing itself out, I think we've also experienced deeper levels of love and loving.
Just like the way he smiled when she said that, like it looked like, I don't know what he's...
About. I think we've also experienced deeper levels of love and loving throughout it all.
Well, the point of this is that we get to work on it. Like this was sitting latent, this mask.
I know, yeah.
And this was causing you huge meltdowns, and I'm tearing my hair out thinking
Why is she so unhappy?
This sounds really healthy, to be honest. Like, I mean, to be able to work through this stuff together, that's where relationships are about. I mean, I'm happy for them that they're doing that. And, you got to be able to be yourself and not feel like you're masking and understand yourself and what you need and communicate that to your
Because, like, I have the trappings of a perfect life, and I just was not happy in it. And it didn't even make sense to me. I didn't know. I thought, holy shit, I must be really traumatized or something because I'm not happy. But like, I look around, I should be like, all my dreams come true. And like,
I'd recommend talking to a therapist. Definitely. I assume you go to a mental health professional if you recently got diagnosed with ADHD and autism. Pretty sure I saw another video where it seemed like it was communicated that they got that diagnosis from ChatGPT, but I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that. And I hope you're talking to a therapist. Talk to a mental health professional who specializes in autism or ADHD or both. It can't hurt. And with my clients, it's very normal for people to talk about things like this or feeling like the pressure to be happy all the time. That's a real pressure that we get and sometimes that we put on ourselves.
I'm very grateful to God, but like, it seems like I'm so
Something's-
ungrateful because
yeah.
I'm just not happy in it. So like, what's going on? Like,
Because I'm thinking, like, any other woman in your situation would just be in total bliss. But you're...
That was bizarre. I mean, I guess he wasn't joking, but she laughed because it was such an absurd thing to say. What the hell does he mean by that? Any woman in her situation married to him would be in total bliss? That was bizarre.
grateful because
Yeah.
I'm just not happy in it. So like,
And he interrupts her to say this.
what's going on? Like,
Because I'm thinking, like, any other woman in your situation would just be in total bliss. But you're here, and, like, I felt some sort of inadequacy. Like, is this not enough? Like, what do
Yo, he wasn't joking at all. Jeff, That's a strange thing to say. Women don't feel total bliss just because they're married to you or just because they have money, just because they have a kid. Like, so that maybe shows a lack of understanding of people and women as people.
What do I gotta do to bring you happiness, you know? And the stuff I had to work through. But we finally realized, like you're autistic and you have ADHD and you know, that's a thing.
Yeah.
That's why no matter how gifted I am, which I am gifted, by the way, it's not enough.
I find also, though, that just as I've been unmasking, you've been unmasking.
By the way, there are videos, just for what it's worth, apropos of nothing, there are videos of this guy saying that he's Jesus Christ. So, yeah, why would she not feel totally blissed out married to him?
As well.
I've been getting clearer on my needs and values.
Yeah, like you're not as tolerant, I guess,
No.
as you once were.
No, I bled more to like try to keep you in a good place.
Right. Yeah.
But now, and so like this is it though. Like what we're talking about. This is what Harmonious Union is like.
Exactly. This is what it's like. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like just like a relationship.
You go deeper, you find stuff that was always there, and then you get to work through it. And this is us working through this unmasking thing, and it's gotten better in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Like less meltdowns. I feel that I understand you better, so you're.
Oh, she just made a look that was like, I don't think it has been less meltdowns.
Yeah.
Like less meltdowns. I feel that I understand.
Did you see that?
Better in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Like less meltdown.
I'm not trying to make fun of them. Like, it sucks having meltdowns. Like, I've felt that way, and but like, it just feels like he's trying to characterize things in a way, characterize her experience for her. So.
I feel that.
See.
I
she's like, nah, has it been less meltdowns?
Understand you better, so you're much easier to manage, and that makes me much more.
Yo, she's not stupid. She knows how that sounds, and he has no idea.
Last 2 months.
Yeah.
Like less meltdowns. I feel that I understand you better, so you're much easier to manage, and that makes.
Like, dude. No one wants to be managed by their partner. Like, what you mean to say is, like, I understand you better, so it's easier for me to manage my response to when you're having a tough time. But no one, she can't help laughing because it's embarrassing. Like, she knows that all the viewers see this, how stupid that is. So she has to show, I see it too. Haha, we're laughing, just being an idiot for a second. But, like, that's weird to be like, you're managing her, dude. Like, just a little side note, bro, from a guy to another guy. You don't want to communicate that you're managing your partner or your spouse.
Makes me much more willing to, like, support you.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that he doesn't laugh. You know what I mean? And she's, like, full on laughing, and he's not like, why are you laughing?
And much less willing to put up with crap that I thought I had to put up with before.
Okay.
Because you were so adamant about it. You're like, I need this!
Okay, Shaleia.
Adamant about it. You're like, I need this now. I'm like, okay, I'll give it to you.
Give me that cat. If you don't give me that cat, I'm leaving. That's. I remember that was what it was like in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm like, you give me cat now.
I was never gonna. I was not a cat dude. It was a bad decision, but she was so persistent and adamant. I was like, well, I love you, so I'll get you a cat.
That is a tough time when if you're with someone and like someone wants something really bad and the other person doesn't want it really bad, like a cat or a pet. That is actually and it doesn't have to be a pet. It could be anything. That's a really good example of a challenging situation in a relationship because those come up all the time. And you have to make sure that you're not constantly deferring to one person. But you also don't want to ignore them and you don't want to not compromise. So you have to like, sometimes you do get the cat even though you don't want to and they do. Other times you don't. But the way you go about it, there's no right or wrong answer. But the way you go about it is the right or wrong answer. You make sure both people are heard. You try to problem solve together. What's going to work the best for both of us? And that's way easier said than done. Because so much denial and guilt and shame about taking up space and all these different things come up. I'll just say, like, this doesn't feel super authentic. I'm not feeling like I'm getting a sense of, like, what exactly these conflicts are around the masking. But hey, we're only 20 minutes in.
Yeah, it was a nice, like, 9 months with the cat.
Yeah.
And then we moved and had to give the cat back.
But we're here, and you got 2 cats now.
It's true. I also demanded cats when I moved into this house. You give me cat now.
That's understandable. That's understandable.
I wanted to.
You're like that meme, you know, that meme, that old school meme.
Right there. I know.
Yeah.
I know the one you're talking about.
Pushing the button, or where it's like the superhero with the 2 buttons, or I'm out of the meme game. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, so, but this is what it is, though. Like, you have a partner in your life, and that partnership is ever evolving, and it's eternal. And so, to me, like, this is just like what a normal relationship is.
It's not, though. This is not.
Right. No, this is what a normal relationship is. Yes. I think you're a little bit not on the same page on the talking points here, but yes.
How it normally is.
I know, though, because I used to date other people.
The difference is,
I know.
we're 2 people working together intimately on the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like business partners, right?
Yeah.
On the same thing that'll improve your life.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just like one layer of it. And I think that that's probably the most prominent layer, is like your partners, right?
Yeah.
And beneath that, your friends.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we haven't really talked about our friendship, and
Did people just get very confused watching them? Like, did their followers? They must just feel so confused, because, like, this is very winding. And he just moves on. Like, no, the point is, this is, like, normal relationship stuff. And then he's like, well, it's not. And because we're also friends. Like, what?
I think that that's
Yeah.
part of what he wanted to go into. So let's go into all those parts in a second, but I want to like really like drive this one home, because this is the work. Mm-hmm. And this is the reason you have Harmonious Union, is to do the work. And this is the purpose of Harmonious Union, is to do the work. But it's not the whole thing. But if you can't do this part, and I think this is what people find to be the most difficult,
Yeah.
you don't get to keep it. It's going to dissolve, because you're going to get high off of the good parts and not sustain it with the work.
Sure.
Right.
Because the purpose of it is to go back to God, to raise your vibration into perfect union with God.
Okay. So so atheists can't really be in their group, I guess. I mean, that's interesting. The purpose of love is to become one with God. So I'm supposed to I'm unionized, essentially. I'm sure they had their workers unionized when they had workers for their organization, because they love union. So I'm supposed to unionize with my partner so that we can both become one with God. Okay. If I believed in God, I would probably just be like, I believe in God and I'm connecting with God. I don't know. Are you supposed to become one with God? Is that the religious thing? But I would just be like, oh, I connect with God. I enjoy my relationship with God, and I enjoy my relationship with my spouse. I wouldn't want to view one as a means to the other, I don't think.
Yeah, and also it's really nice to feel like you've arrived home when you're with the right person. It's just like that feeling of home and familiarity. Like, we all love that. Mm-hmm. And it feels really good to have that and that love as the core of our foundation.
So we talk about partners a little bit, right?
Yeah.
'Cause we talk about twin flames to being like, you know, teacher, student, friends, partners, and then lovers. It's like in that order, right?
Excuse me, could you say that again, Jeff?
We talk about partners a little bit, right?
Yeah.
'Cause we talk about twin flames to being like, you know, teacher, student, friends, partners, and then lovers, like in that order, right?
Sorry, teacher, student? Sorry, what? Are you talking about like with your followers, or are you her teacher? Like, are you each other's teacher?
Right. And so I kind of want to go through those different elements of
Yeah, I
our
would love that.
relationship. And,
Sure.
I would love
you know, I just don't feel fully satisfied with partnership yet. I just want to finish that off first before we do that.
Sure.
You have to understand what life is first.
See, this is why I'd suggest not using a bunch of unnecessary concepts and taking sort of an Occam's razor approach to your life, because I do think things become tangled and complicated. So, yeah.
To understand what you're partnering in. And life is a opportunity to ascend your vibration. Life is the dissolving of fear and the surrender to love. It's the purification of your consciousness. And on planet Earth, it looks like there's something wrong in our relationship.
Sorry, life is the purification of our consciousness?
And what you're partnering in. And life is a opportunity to ascend your vibration. Life is the dissolving of fear and the surrender to love.
Okay. All right. I don't want to be a jerk. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. That's cool.
It's the purification of your consciousness.
That part I don't like. Everything else I could get down with. I'm like, okay, yeah, getting rid of fear. Sure, in some sense, as you gain experience, you might in some ways get rid of fear to some extent. Obviously, you never really get rid of fear, but sure, in some metaphorical way, you're confronting the world and so on. But purifying your consciousness, I have a hard time with that one. Pretty sure we get less pure as time goes by.
And on planet Earth, it looks like there's something wrong in our relationship. I can't quite get my hand around it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
We have all the things, right? Like, we've always gotten along super well. We're crazy about each other, but there's meltdowns happening, and like, there's something about it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, it might be like the Netflix documentary. Sorry, I went to my own video. The Netflix documentary or the Amazon documentary or the Canadian documentary or the state attorney general investigating you. Like, I think that's the stress you guys are feeling.
And so you don't throw out the whole relationship because there's this part of it that's not working.
Right.
You just sit with the part of it that's not working and work to find a solution. And if you can't find a solution, you just grab the lowest hanging fruit in your life and work on what you can. Well, I don't know why she's having a meltdown. She's saying because she needs a cat. Okay, let's raise our vibration to get to the point where I can get her a cat.
That's not helpful.
Okay, she has the cat. Well, now she needs 3 dogs. Okay, she has 3 dogs. So it's not that they're assholes. So I need to get a dog trainer or like.
Can I ask you a question, Jeff? Do Shaleia's feelings ever implicate your actions and like the things you're doing rather than just like what objects and non-human animals are around?
Like all of these things, right? What is the thing? And then I'm like, oh, you're autistic. That's the real thing that's going on.
But like that doesn't solve everything. As anyone who's gotten a diagnosis can tell you, it's a helpful step. It does not solve things to get diagnosed.
There's no way to solve this hurt in you by giving you more things.
This is embarrassing, actually.
Of course you'll ask for more things because you want them. But that's not the thing that's gonna...
Technically, I'm going to clear it. Technically, Charlie wanted...
Come on. Just stop posting until the case is over, I guess.
The 2 other dogs.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a me thing per se. I mean, I always knew I wanted dogs, but Charlie, he pushed it hard.
Well, I think we make a good partner here partners here because you're autistic and you'll lay down the facts as they are.
It's true.
I'll be a little bit dramatic for the fun and
you
drama.
were definitely being a little dramatic for camera.
It's fun.
Yeah, that would annoy me too. I mean, it does feel, you can see him like looking at the camera at certain points and yeah.
It's not just for cam, I'm just dramatic in general. You're going to get the same person on and off camera. We're not any different. However, off camera, we're really just working all the time on this.
Yeah.
On self-care.
Yeah.
Because I can stop and hang out with you and chat about the weather.
There's this really great quote from, I think it's from this Canadian documentary, where they visit, the interviewer visits them at home. Oh, they have a dish thing as well. Yeah, amazing interviewer, does such an incredible job. Unbelievable. I strongly recommend this documentary. But But yeah, there's a quote where Jeff's like, it looks like I'm not doing much, but I'm actually sitting around thinking and feeling and so on. I'm not going to find it.
And make sure you feel good about me. Or I can ascend my relationship with my twin flame and have higher bliss. Mm-hmm. Which do you think I care about more? You're right if it's the latter. I really prefer to ascend my vibration than to have nonsense small talk about nonsense. And if that's you,
I don't understand what's being talked about right now.
You prefer the nonsense thing and you don't want the deep thing, why are you on this channel listening to us?
Because look, I want to understand what, like, you guys are out here being like, we have this amazing harmonious twin flame union, or whatever, harmonious twin flame union. And a lot of other people are saying that sounds sort of made up. Like, why don't you just give relationship advice? And I'm part of that group, so I'm watching you guys and I'm thinking, what type of relationship advice is here? Because I did a whole 5-hour video about relationship advice and no one mentioned harmonious twin flame unions. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to learn. But no, I don't, it's all good to be spiritual. I really do think that. I'm not just saying that to be a good person. Like, I have aspects of myself that are spiritual, and it's hard to describe in some ways, but like, I think there's a lot of, like, we are sort of by nature spiritual creatures as much as we're spiritual animals. We're like, we're like, I don't know, like, spirituality is a part of us, obviously. So like, I'm all good with spirituality, but I don't know, being like, I'd rather ascend my vibration than make small talk. It's not one or the other for me. I mean, you know what I mean? Nothing like a good amount of small talk. I will ascend with a good amount of small talk. I will freaking ascend. So,
what are you doing? Go have small talk. This is deep stuff. This is deep spiritual stuff. So
this is deep spiritual stuff, like about how I had to get her a cat so she felt better.
We're just working through what arises together, and together doesn't mean, okay, we're gonna work on it. Sometimes it means we go our separate ways.
Yeah.
You go do your thing, I do my thing. I'm
go for a walk.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got our own individual loops. And
we got our loops. Yeah.
Sometimes we're on a walk together. Sometimes individual. Sometimes we need space. Sometimes we want to hang out. And it's like really like, hey, you want to go on a walk? I wasn't planning on it, but you got a nice smile, so let's go.
Sure. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, of course. That's normal. Of course.
Sure, I'll spend some time with you.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's partners, right?
And they do have a really big house, as I said, which honestly, I bet you there are studies to show, like, you shouldn't have too big of a house. You know what I mean? Because, like, you don't want to be forced together all the time, but you don't want to have it be super easy to, like, I don't know. I think there's really something to be said for, like, wealth and having too much stuff and too much space and too much ability to be separate from one another, as it can actually be very alienating for people. But yeah, you definitely don't need a mansion. No one needs a mansion. No one. Unless you got like 10 little kids or something, but
you have to, and when you face that difficulty, like you have to be ready, because it's your most horrific fear, and that is a physiological, spiritual, emotional, psychological experience. When you're facing your biggest fears, it's not just like, oh, that's a it's a shadow on the wall. I'm reading about it in a book. It feels very visceral.
Okay.
And you have to face it down and purify that and dissolve it. You have to work through the block.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought we were talking about something slightly different, but okay.
And then you have to surmount it. And that's...
So first you purify it, then you surmount it.
An unending thing. But when you realize that the fear makes you feel terrible and it ruins your life, ruins any part of your life where there's fear, but when you resolve that, your life like gels. Like your relationship, just like Shaleia was saying, it just works.
Yeah.
Suddenly it just works. Suddenly the problem is no longer there, and this just flow, and it never comes back ever. Mm-hmm. When you realize that that's the game, you go fucking bananas, because it's so rewarding
Well,
to do this.
I also notice like what we're doing is working because our kid's really happy. And I can tell when she's happy with us, and I can tell when she's not happy with us.
Yeah.
And
You have kids, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, for sure, kids definitely pick up on like tension between parents. Obviously, I mean,
you know.
doesn't mean that every time a kid's acting out, it's a result of parents, obviously, but yeah.
They don't hide
No.
how they feel about you.
But the clear majority of the time, our daughter is very happy with us. Yeah, she's very happy. And yeah.
Okay, just a question. Okay, and I'm not trying to be rude, Jeff and Shaleia, but just a question. How do you think your daughter's gonna feel in 10 or 15 years when she watches the 3 documentaries about you guys, reads the results of the Michigan Attorney General investigation, but more importantly, sees you guys making statements about like wanting her to be celibate? I hope you are ready to apologize for that, because you guys were saying some really weird out-of-pocket shit about your daughter. And like, no kid needs the pressure of that. Parents shouldn't even want their kids to join a particular profession. Like, just don't put unnecessary expectations on your kid. Just want them to be happy. Even that might be too much sometimes. But like, seriously.
Yeah, she
Like deeply happy, not
Yeah.
like.
And I'm not trying to be a jerk, because they probably realized that was out of pocket at this point. I feel like they acknowledged that it was a passing thing, but like, I hope they acknowledge just how messed up that is and how it really aligns with some of the accusations against them about how they ran their group.
A piece of cake and
About how they are running their group. I'm sorry.
but like she's just a happy person.
she has the general disposition of happiness and joy, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
But I can always tell, like, you know, like you can tell like if a kid is in an unhealthy environment, or like, you know, parents fight all the time and like their relationship's not good. You can see it and feel it off of the child. But with her, like, I can tell like that's just not there.
I know, because every aspect of our life gets better.
Yeah,
Consistently, without fail, no matter
like,
what.
And our relationship gets better, and
Yeah.
then, you know, my daughter reflects that and sees that, and so it's nice. It's like almost like for me, like getting a graded paper back from my kid. Just as I grade her, she grades me.
Oh, you're grading her? You're homeschooling her? Okay. I think homeschooling, I guess, could be ethical sometimes. I do think it could be ethical sometimes. I think people should have the right to homeschool, as long as there's really adequate regulations around it. But based on what I've seen from these people, I would encourage them to let the kid get out, talk with some other kids. And so I think it'll be good for everyone.
So,
yeah.
Do you want to talk about the teacher-student layer of?
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, I was very confused about that. How does the teacher-student relationship factor into Harmonious Twin Flame Union? Yes, that's very confusing to me, because that is a hierarchy that I would not think of as related to love.
Harmonious Twin Flame Union?
Sure. So one of the things, so for those of you that may not know, one of the teachings that we share about twin flames, about your twin flame, is that they're your guru, they're your highest spiritual teacher as well as your student.
So, wow, I didn't know that. Okay, so they are each other's guru. So Shaleia is Jeff's guru. Jeff would say that Shaleia is his guru.
They are your life partner, eternal life partner. They're your best friend, and then they're your lover.
Your friends, partners, lovers.
Yeah.
You said it backwards.
Did I say it
Yeah,
backwards?
you flipped it too.
Ooh, I flipped it. Well, I did
But the students thing is important to that as well?
my best. There you go.
Team.
I think
Oh, come on, guys. What's going on here? Don't bicker.
Yeah, you
backwards.
flipped it too.
Ooh, I flipped it. Well, I did my best. There you go.
Team.
I think I feel the why I put it that way is because you can't really be a lover until you have all those other things in order.
Well, yeah, lover is the end.
Yeah, lover is the end. Yeah.
So it's teacher, student, friends, partners, lovers.
Look, just think about it. Like, things don't always have a linear progression or a beginning and an end. You know what I mean? And I would argue that, you know, we always learn about ourselves and about our loved ones, but you don't have to view your partner as your guru or your teacher. Come on.
Mm-hmm. So when you have all those together and they're working well, the lover part is so wonderful and so easy and so.
Are you all enjoying this? Let me know in the chat. If you're watching in the future, let me know in the comments. Check out the Patreon, the memberships on YouTube. Check out the podcast, the Verbal Journal podcast. I put a lot of work into it, a lot of play into it as well. And we look at all kinds of weird stuff. And it's getting better and better. Talk about eternal improvement. The Verbal Journal podcast has very recently made some significant improvements, cutting some dead weight, you might say. You know what I mean?
So natural and so juicy, but you know, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, you know, because your twin flame is your mirror, meaning they mirror your consciousness.
Yeah, I have such a hard time with spirituality, even though I consider myself a spiritual person, because I just always go like, what or why or how, you know what I mean? Like in any religion or spirituality. I remember, whatever. I don't want to pick on particular religions, but every single one.
That they will naturally trigger you. Also, they'll also show you where you're amazing and doing really well in your life. It's not just trigger all the bad stuff. Actually, they mirror.
Reflect the wonderful
they
stuff.
reflect all the wonderful stuff about you as well. All the love, the joy, the beautiful qualities about yourself that you see in your twin flame. They're in you too. And so...
yeah, and that's true of any relationship. I mean, certainly a intimate romantic relationship.
When we're, you know, triggered by our twin flame because of what they're mirroring for us, it's an opportunity to take that.
That's the weirdest thing about their movement. That's not going to be mentioned in it's not a legality question. So every. Whether it's a high control group or a normal group, groups tend to have they're like, this is our one thing. This is like our thing. This is the thing we do. Their thing is what's called the mirror exercise. And from my understanding, from watching the documentaries about them and so on, the mirror exercise, this is what it is. You literally look in a mirror, or you figuratively look in a mirror, and you take responsibility for everything you're experiencing. That's my understanding, is that the mirror exercise means you say, I'm feeling depressed because or like maybe you'd be like, I'm feeling hurt because like someone insulted me. And then you change it to, I'm feeling hurt because I insulted myself. And I would say that sounds solipsistic, and solipsism is not true and not real and not proven and not helpful. And actually sometimes our feelings are impacted by other people, and not everyone is our mirror. Actually, no one's a mirror, because mirrors are objects, and people are people. We might see aspects of ourselves reflected in other people's behavior and so on, or we might take accountability for some aspects of how people treat us if we feel like we did something wrong to initiate it. But that doesn't mean all the time, you know.
A teachable moment, and to become a student of your twin flame and heal in your consciousness what it is that they are showing you and reflecting in you. We devote an entire chapter in our book, Twin Flames Finding Your Ultimate Lover, just to the mirror.
Hey, no free shout outs. Someone bleep that out in post.
And it gives several examples in there.
Got a comment in the chat. Good written headline segment talking about the Verbal Journal podcast. Quick correction, it's headline section, but thank you very much for your familiarity with the pod. Much appreciated.
And so the way the mirror,
and yes, it will be gone. I didn't cave this time. It's gone.
mirroring works is to purify your consciousness. That's why twin flames. And
new episode just for members and patrons on Sunday.
this is why it's number one, because if you can't handle your twin flame being your highest spiritual teacher.
If you can't handle the twin flame, then get out of the kitchen, right? Is that the expression about if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen? I remember one time I worked at a pizza place and I was doing the dishes. They wanted me to start making the pizzas. And I noticed they all had burns on their arms from the hot oven, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get burns on my arms. I don't want to do this. And they were like, well, if you can't handle the heat, you know what they say. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of the kitchen.
And guru, you can't handle the rest of the relationship, partnership, friendship, lover. That's not gonna sustain very long.
Well, sometimes you might just end up being friends, but yeah, for sure.
Because you're not recognizing and utilizing like one of the most primary aspects of your union, which is they're your spiritual teacher. And honestly, I think that's really sexy. It always was a draw for me before I met Jeff. Like, I wanted my man to be my teacher as well as my lover. I wanted him to show the hurt parts of myself, as well as the beautiful and wonderful and loving parts of myself. I wanted a perfect mirror, and so that's what I got.
That sounded kind of sad. I don't know. Words like perfect are not helpful generally, unless you're using the word not in front of it.
And so, you know, when Jeff shows me those
because
parts of
nothing's perfect. I mean, obviously it's cliche, but nothing's perfect. I mean, what is perfection?
myself that are hurt or need healing, or they're like in the shadows, and he brings them to light. Yeah, like usually my initial reaction is compassion for myself. Like, oh man, I'm really hurting. Yeah, that's really hard. You know, why I behave this way. It's rooted in my childhood, and my childhood was not easy. It was kind of difficult, and yeah, I just have compassion for myself. And you know, I ask that my twin flame have compassion for me while I work through this, because it can be hard for him too. Like, for instance, with my unmasking, it's a lot of it is rooted in childhood.
Yeah, I mean, and I'd say, Jeff, you should go to a therapist too if you don't already. I mean, I think it's super healthy to do, and it would be great to talk about everything that's been going on with, you know, all the documentaries and so on, and like the state attorney general and so on. It'd be really good to talk about. But also, yeah, with unmasking and stuff at home, if you're each talking to someone, making sure you process your thoughts and feelings. Look, you don't have to talk to a therapist to be healthy and be in a healthy relationship, but it doesn't hurt, and I just wanted to throw that out there. Might help a little, might not hurt too much.
And so compassion and patience. But the point is that...
And I don't get a kickback from that. You know what I mean? I don't get a kickback. You know, you find a therapist. I won't get a kickback from that. We don't all communicate. You know what I mean? I won't get anything from that. Except the good feeling of seeing you two, you know, working through your stuff and so on.
Your twin
on your channel.
Flame shows you these parts of yourself, and your duty is to heal them. And then your life and your relationship with your twin flame improves because you're utilizing it appropriately.
This would be really strange to do a podcast with your partner. The way you're like not looking at each other and stuff, it would be odd. I've thought about that before. I don't know how that, yeah, it'd be interesting.
So when that happens, you're going to feel terrible when you're getting this mirrored to you.
Oh, of course.
It feels personal. It feels wrong and violating.
It's like someone blowing cigarette smoke in your face.
Oh, it's so...
like you.
It can be so rude.
But
come on. What if they did it by accident? It's not that big of a deal.
You have to just learn when it's important for you to sit with it. Yeah. Those awful feelings, and you're like... I want to point the finger at you, and go ahead and do that in your own head, you know, but it's something that you
no, I don't think that's a good thing to do in your head.
You have to learn through experience, and this is why we have an entire school, Twin Flame Ascension School, to take you through this process.
I don't, no free shout out. I would not go to anything that they run until the investigation's closed about them.
To prepare you for the relationship that you're wanting to manifest. It's the most valuable school you'll ever attend in your life, because this is the most important decision you can ever make in your lifetime, is who you're going to partner with. And if
But you might not be able to help everyone make that decision.
you want to partner with your ultimate lover, you probably want a foundation to have a healthy, lasting, beautiful, evolving marriage, and it
Which you can get from a lot of different places.
pays enormous dividends.
Well, you can get a free understanding of love in a lot of different places. You go to the library.
So you're silly if you want this and you don't equip yourself with
You could equip yourself without going to their thing that they charge money for.
appropriate tools to help you move through the process. And once you get
I will say, just realistically, if you're trying to find love and you've had a hard time, I do think like just doing more things in general is a great way to do it. But also if you feel like your block has to do with yourself as a person, working on that parts of yourself, confidence, communication, being able to relax around people, you know what I mean? You might have to work on yourself in certain ways, but also just putting yourself out there and doing things that you enjoy, whether or not you meet someone and so on.
you kind of get your grasp around that process. It's just one of sitting with the feeling and being present until it dissolves. And sometimes it's minutes, sometimes it's hours, sometimes it's days, sometimes it can be up to years.
It's so interesting hearing them use stuff that sounds like mental health language, because like it's almost like he's talking about distress tolerance. But again, like this is all very like, what are we talking about? Okay, just moving through conflicts. Like I feel like we barely got a description of how they do that.
You're just sitting, but it does dissolve.
It does.
So that was my piece on that. Was there more you're wanting to say?
No, I feel like I covered the aspect of your twin flame being your highest spiritual teacher and guru.
I want to talk more about that part when you're done with.
I would love that, Jeff. Thank you, because I'm still quite confused about why you consider each other your teacher and your guru.
That part.
Go ahead, yeah.
For me, teacher means you have respect for what the person is bringing you to help you grow.
Fucking Jordan Peterson ass definition. Okay. A teacher is usually like someone whose job it is, or their role is such that it's an asymmetrical relationship. That's the thing about teacher-student. I mean, obviously teachers learn things from their students. I learn things from my clients, but generally it's an asymmetry of the helping. And the teachers don't necessarily talk about their own thoughts and feelings as much, or they're there to impart lessons that relate to things outside of those two people. Obviously you learn things from your partners, but there's like a asymmetry of a hierarchy there that I don't associate with a healthy romantic relationship.
Like this person knows stuff, sees stuff that you don't, and shares it with you for the purpose of your evolution.
Whether it's verbal or nonverbal.
Mm-hmm. It's spiritual. This is she's embodied as a human, and this is Shaleia. She's 30-something years old, and she's cute, and I like her. But
come on, dude, come on.
That's not the real Shaleia. That's just an element of Shaleia. The real Shaleia is a much more expansive divine being. And that is the teacher that is bringing me this high wisdom for my evolution. It's like...
is this imagined version of my partner that I imagine.
You can understand it when you're on the other side of it, which is student. She's also my best student.
Yeah.
And my student...
No, I want to hear more about you as the student, Jeff, actually. I want to hear more about you as the student. I'm really curious about that.
I see Shaleia as my student. My students are my student. The public is my student. And my daughter is my student. And I don't really see my daughter as any different than any of my other students. She's my daughter, and I just love her and invest in her for her highest growth.
But I'm not a baby, bro. I'm not a toddler. You know what I mean? We're not toddlers. Also, I want to hear more about you as the student, Jeff.
And that's the same thing that a student is in my mind. Like, it's my kid. I just take care of it. right? And so when you have someone you're taking care of, for example, my daughter, I invest
Teachers don't take care of students. I mean, okay, whatever.
everything I have into her so she can grow for her evolution, so she can become a well-functioning adult.
I know teachers like somewhat take care of students. I'm not trying to,
And so she knows that she's loved.
It's the same as your twin flame. You love and invest into this person with your whole being. You pour yourself into them. And that's the person that stays with you eternally. You can pour yourself into that person, but they don't go off into the stars, right? They stay with you. And they're very close to you, so you pour a lot, and it's a really good investment. So that's, for me, what teacher and student is. She's doing the same thing to me.
Yeah.
Like, I see, and I want to love her and support her and make her, the best she can be.
I know, like, we were just talking about this recently, but how quickly, when we first entered our relationship, like, I took you on like my student.
Yeah.
And I made sure that you were going to develop spiritually.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I forgot about that. Right. There's a lot of people who say, or I think the understanding is, I think it's not speculative. I believe the understanding is that she was actually more into spirituality when they met. So she actually taught him about twin flames. Unless I could be wrong. That's just what I heard someone else say. But I believe that's the understanding, is that she actually taught him about twin flames. So that is true. I forgot about that. He was her student in that regard. Right. She's kind of the mastermind about twin flames. Oh, wait. Quick thing I wanted to show.
What if?
Oh, wait. Sorry.
What if?
Wait.
Christ.
Oh, my God. Sorry. I don't know.
Guess who the drummer
Oh, my
is?
God. Sorry. I thought I was ready to play that. I don't watch YouTube shorts. I don't know how they work. I don't ever want to know how they work. Just show me the video I was trying to watch. Okay.
I am the Christ. Revelation talks about this, right? This man on a white horse. Holy, holy. And on his coat is, it says King of Kings. Holy, yeah! I am so fucking holy. So, like, what if I am the Christ?
Okay. So that's just one example of him saying, what if I'm the Christ? Just something to think about.
I made it clear, like, it wasn't going to work out if you weren't going to, like, spiritually develop alongside.
Well, that was my explosive moment. That was when my numerology signs.
Oh, yeah.
That was just like a psychosis to me. Like,
Yeah.
it was like the next step. Like, this is what I didn't know I was waiting for, and I was waiting for.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, numerology and an obsession with numerology probably could be a manifestation of psychosis for some people. I mean, psychosis can be many different things. It just describes combinations of hallucinations or delusions or flights of thought. I mean, an inability to really be connected to the world around you in various ways. I'm not at all saying that he has experienced psychosis, but when he uses that word in connection with numerology, it's worth pointing out. I mean, numerology is not inherently psychotic at all, but like a certain extent of belief in numerology could certainly overlap with psychosis, could certainly overlap with delusions, because sometimes numbers don't mean anything. And a delusion is a false belief versus hallucination is like a false perception, essentially.
It was everything that you brought me was everything that was the next step on my spiritual journey, like on every level, in every way.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I don't know if we're going to watch the whole thing. I can't sit too much. I got to stretch. I got to do other stuff with my life. Let's see. Should we keep let's see.
Okay, this now makes sense because I was done with that piece and that piece and that piece, and you brought everything forward.
I was just clear, like, I'm not going to be with any man who doesn't, like, talk to God and, like, doesn't have, you got to have a relationship with God, and I'm not going to be your intermediary between, the divine, like, you're going to do it.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
So, what's the...
Because he was trying to sort of say, no, I didn't just become spiritual because you were going to break up with me if I didn't. It was also this logical progression of my own numerology, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, but also I was going to dump your ass if you didn't talk to God.
Next, friends. This is fun to me because I feel like one of the first things I felt when we first.
By the way, as far as I understand, they both legally changed their last name to Divine. Like, that was not their last name, and then they both changed their last name to Divine.
Like truly connected was friendship. And I could feel it was going to be a really wonderful, fun friendship.
I will say, I think friendship is absolutely essential for love and intimate romance, and arguably is better if it comes before, but that's arguable. Sometimes you don't control stuff like that, but it's got to be there alongside. You got to be, I mean, I don't think you can be in love if you don't have a solid friendship with each other. I mean, not in a sustainable love, I guess.
And I still feel that same way 11 years later. I remember we would just talk for hours on the phone. And then when we moved in together, talk. These two introverted people became like extreme extroverts, like alone. It was really cute.
That's beautiful.
And
that sounds like love.
Yeah, like we have more responsibilities now, but we're always talking like to each other throughout the day, and like we're always having like conversations. And I feel like our friendship, even without like talking, you know, like our friendship is always there. And it's always like,
okay, I don't know, this is really friendship. Okay, let's fast forward to lovers and sacred intimacy.
Yeah.
And you know, I think I really won your heart over completely in that moment.
Well, because I knew that you
wait, how?
Like thrown out by your family, and you thought I was probably gonna leave you, and
everyone else around my life was leaving me. I was like, well.
Oh yeah, I saw something about he had started a business where he was allegedly saying he could heal people's medical issues for money. Like allegedly. And then he got kicked out of living with someone, or no, maybe that was after he was not living with his family and him and her were living with his friend. I don't know. I've watched too many documentaries about them.
You're next, right? All right, I got abandoned by everyone.
Oh.
No.
So are we gonna break up now? And you're like, no. What are you kidding?
I'm like, oh hell no! Here, I'll pick you up, put you over my shoulders. I got you. We're good. We're good.
That's beautiful.
Definitely drove us to like move through that situation.
I wanted to be your friend. I knew you needed a friend. So, and I had been in that same place as you, so I knew like how difficult it was. And I think mine, family abandonment, it was more systematic. Yours was like all at once. And
that's so sad. I don't know the history of them with their families, but like any of this problematic stuff with the group they've been running, it's like I wish everyone could just have better relationships with their communities and families, or found families, friendships, people around them, because I think not having that leads to reliance on weird money-oriented communities.
And that's like, and you were older, so I think that was
like my Patreon.
Probably more traumatizing. So
I'm just kidding. We don't really have any community in my Patreon, and my Discord basically, is no one ever communicates. So I try to make it very clear you're not joining any community when you join my Patreon or anything.
I knew like I could be a friend to you here, and I was going to be.
Yeah.
And I think I really won your heart over completely in that moment.
Well, because I knew that you, your intentions were true.
Yeah.
That like I was at my lowest point in life.
Yeah.
I had no money. I had no social status. My family threw me out on the street.
Yeah.
Like I had no job prospect. Like I was a nobody in that.
Okay, just a side note, not related to them, but just because you're at a low point in your life does not mean someone taking interest in you has absolutely no bad intentions. I'm not speaking to their situation, just in general. That's not a good principle. People could still take advantage of someone who has no material wealth and so on. So again, I'm not even speaking to what they're saying. I just think that's an important thing to say. That's not a principle.
That moment.
Nobody with nothing, really. Yeah.
And in that moment, you're like, just put your arm around me, and you're like,
are we feeling like this is a good stream to follow up on my relationships video? Are we enjoying it? Pretty fun, right?
come on, let's keep going, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those moments, like, they bond you, and they, yeah, like, you never forget that's your friend. So I feel good about the friendship part.
Yeah, I feel like we, gave a good taste of it.
Yeah, I gave a little taste.
So let's talk about lovers. And honestly, this is the part I want to talk about the least.
You're shy.
Well, it's very sacred to me.
I agree.
I don't want to like go flaunt what I got, around in the world, because like.
Okay, you've made an entire business about how your relationship is harmonious.
Like, it's very compelling. It's very juicy. It's very exciting. It's very desirable.
People get very.
Oh, I forgot. There's this whole thing where he uses the word juicy a lot. I'm not joking.
Excited and stimulated over sex and talking about lovers and sex and all that.
Let's do it.
But I think beyond that, it's really the topic of intimacy. And a lover is the person that you're the most intimate with, like physically, emotionally, spiritually. Like, it's your most intimate partner in life. And they touch those parts of you that no one else touches, physically and emotionally, spiritually, and like, that's what a lover is, and they bring love there.
Sure.
And you in turn, like, you love them back. And that's the deal with having a lover. It's a constant exchange of love and loving. And I feel like, with lovers, like, the lover part of our relationship, it was a natural evolution of friendship.
Yeah.
That, the deepest part of our friendship just really led us to lovers. And I don't know what to say. I'm like, oh, let's do this. Yeah, and like, I had never been able to really be truly intimate with someone before until I met Jeff, and then he opened me up to new levels of loving and love and new parts of myself that had always been there, but I didn't really know, or I didn't really get a chance to explore. And it was like a real gift that we give each other. And I feel like, the lover part of our relationship, it's like the fertilizer of the soil of our union. That's how I feel. Like, it.
It's funny that he laughed because it's not like funny or anything. I talked about analogies a lot and my thoughts about analogies, some good ones, some bad ones. I mean, that's fine. Analogy, obviously, whatever. I just, like, we've been talking for like 2 minutes. I'm like, what are we talking about?
It's an energy exchange. And that energy exchange between twin flames, particularly in harmonious twin flame union, or if you're well on your way to harmonious union, and you know what I mean by that.
Right. So they have to have twin flames, but then if you're twin flames, you're not automatically in harmonious twin flame union, because otherwise, why would you need to learn from their ascension coaches that they allegedly take a large cut from? Who are unlicensed in any sort of traditional sense, allegedly. Right, because if it's just twin flames, like, there's this whole other step of, like, now you got to make it a harmonious union. We'll tell you how to do that.
It's an ascension energy. It's the unification of your divine masculine to your divine feminine, and when those come together, you experience divine ecstasy. And
okay. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that. I don't ascend personally. I don't ascend. I don't transcend. I don't do those. I remember, it just makes me think of, I remember reading some article about Kafka or something, because I love Kafka. We got a Kafka book right here. Always got Kafka books nearby. I got Kafka book right. Wait, where's my other Kafka book? It's over there. I read an article that was like challenging the idea that Kafka was transcending his time period, and that artists transcend their time period, and like amazing artists transcend their time period. And basically, from what I remember, I might have just read the beginning of it. The article was sort of saying, well, no, he's a product of it just like anyone else is. And that's actually what makes beautiful art. You don't have to transcend your time period to make beautiful art. In fact, making beautiful art comes from being able to represent your time period in a beautiful way. I don't know. You know, I'm simplifying. Point is, I don't think about things in these terms. If you do, that's great. You can think about ascending and transcending. Just know what you mean, I guess. Just know what that means to you, and so that other people can't use the word in completely different ways. Because to me, I just find it confusing. I don't know what ascending means. I could operationalize it for myself. To me, I could say, well, I'm ascending when I'm in a more high functioning state of mind, or like I'm more feeling like myself, or I'm more feeling confident. You know, you can operationalize it in a lot of ways, but you should know what you mean by it and make sure you have some general idea of what that is, so that because it's very like tantalizing language and so on.
Divine bliss. And
divine bliss. Okay.
That is an ascension energy. And
look, I know I sound like a dick. Like, at the end of the day, I do. If you are the type of person who wants to experience divine bliss every day, you probably just mean that in a slightly different way from how I think about it. So that's great. I mean, you can experience your divine bliss. I just wouldn't like pay someone to help you experience divine bliss, I guess, is what I would say. Or I don't pay someone to help you ascend, I guess. Same thing. So just be wary of these big words when they're tied to people who are accepting money for services.
I feel it quite palpably in our life. And after we've been intimate, like our vibration goes way up. And simultaneously at times too, like, you know, an upset will quickly come to the surface
because it purges all the, you know, stuff.
Yeah, we've said many times in Twin Flame Ascension School that when you go to new levels of loving in your consciousness and in your life, the old that was there in that place has to come up for healing. And so when it does that, we call that upheaval. It's the release of the old energy, the old emotions, the old vibrations.
See, like, I just think it's way easier and more helpful to be like, when you get closer with someone, problems arise and stuff that was under the surface comes up. But again, I'm using metaphorical, figurative language to a certain extent. So you could take whatever you connect with, for sure. It's, you know, it's perfectly fine to think about it the way they're saying upheaval, things come up for you. Sure. If that's how you think about things, great.
Sometimes it's like what, you know, I've heard called like circular healing. Like you're just going back and revisiting an old wound or revisiting an old memory, and you're coming at it from a new vantage point and or from a new place of healing. And so sometimes like that's what happens. But yeah, I definitely feel like if there's one thing that is very palpable when you look in at our life, is that we're lovers. Mm-hmm. And I always laugh at some of our naysayers who say, you're not lovers, you're not twin flames. And I'm like, right.
So one of the questions we got...
I guess you know.
One of the questions we got was, what is it that people don't see on screen? You know, what do people not see on, you know, on camera or on the internet? And it's that we're lovers. But
yeah.
we don't show affection almost ever in public.
No, we don't do much display of like affection, like public displays of affection.
But you do sometimes do public displays of a little bit of like bitterness and irritation.
Yeah. There's no need.
But if that's the worst hate comments you're getting, that they don't think you're in love, fair enough. I think people are probably commenting about other stuff too. You might just not be looking at it or deleting it potentially. I mean, Jeff might be deleting it. I don't know.
No, yeah, we don't feel the need to. I think because we just feel like it's so sacred, and having people watch that interaction,
it's not for you.
It just doesn't feel good to us because I don't mind. Like we share obviously like photos of us kissing, and I think that's really nice to share. You know, our love for each other and to inspire others to have their own harmonious twin flame union. And to show that aspect of lovers, which is like one of the most obvious draws for people to twin flames, even though it's so much more, as we've been detailing in this video. But we just like, we hold it very sacred, you know? And so like when you do see a public display of affection between us, it's quite meaningful.
Well, it's also pretty like, we keep it low key if we do.
We do, yeah.
We don't even really kiss in front of our daughter. Like,
no, we're even careful with our kid, you know?
What? Your daughter's like a few years old. You don't kiss in front of your daughter? The age of your kid doesn't matter at all. You can kiss in front of your kid? I mean, you don't have to make out if your kid's like older than like 4, but like you could kiss in front of your kid? Oh, come on. What? Trying to find a video that's really such a I just like, I have no idea how I'm going to be find it, but it's such a funny moment that someone highlighted. But that's wild that you don't kiss in front of your kid. You should totally feel comfortable kissing in front of your kid to a reason, you know, just like a peck here, peck there. You don't have to, you know, make them uncomfortable. But isn't your kid really young? I feel like you could definitely kiss in front of them. Oh, okay. Ready? I found this. Okay, ready. So I know you might think I brought up the documentaries a lot and stuff in this video. There's a lot of stuff that they've ventured into that we didn't have time to cover. One of them was like this sort of like mental health-esque thing that they were doing where they said they would help people with PTSD. And so this person took a recording of them in an interview and then cut it together. Check this out. Because this shows funny stuff related to overpromising, but it also shows their relationship dynamic in a very odd moment. I would call it very odd.
Emergency to go to the ER.
You're treating PTSD. I mean, that's a serious...
I'm not treating PTSD. Absolutely not. We are healing trauma.
So that's already very weird. But that's not even the point. That's very weird to be like, I'm not treating PTSD, I'm healing trauma, because that's sort of just like a euphemistic, like non-legal issue way to say treating PTSD, but okay, whatever. You're just healing trauma. Okay. So this person who made this content, You Got Roasted, I don't really know the channel. They then cut to this old video, or maybe not that old video. No, actually, this one's since the Netflix documentary came out. I don't know the exact order of events. This is their first podcast. Check this out.
People are literally dying from trauma every day. Families are ripped apart, and it's resolvable like relatively easily at scale. And we have the scientific data to prove it. And if you call us a cult and psycho cult leaders, you're going to write off any of the results we get as quackery.
Watch this.
But Mind Alignment Process, mindalignmentprocess.org, go to if you check it out, is the most effective trauma healing modality on the planet today. People are healing of complex PTSD and PTSD, and these are medical professionals who are... Why'd you poke me?
Nothing.
What were you trying to communicate?
No.
Okay.
Nothing, yeah.
Sorry, just
I'm
sensitive.
getting tired, though. So
Okay, well...
we gotta start wrapping it up, but I don't want
Let me finish what I'm saying and then
Okay.
wrap it up.
Jeff, she poked you because you were saying that you treat PTSD in an empirically proven way, which is a really big issue to say things like that, Jeff. So your wife, who's smarter than you, is aware of that, and she poked you, and you're not even smart. I'm sorry, Jeff, I'm not trying to be rude, but how do you not realize why she's poking you in that moment, man? You hadn't talked off camera about what claims you should and should not make about PTSD? That's why she's poking you, dude.
Today, people are healing of complex PTSD and
You don't say that, dude.
PTSD, and these are medical professionals who are... Why'd you poke me?
Why'd you poke me? Why do you think she poked you, bro? And then she has the wherewithal to, like, play it off.
nothing.
What were you trying to communicate?
She's like, why are you saying live on camera that I poked you?
No.
Also, guys, it's okay to just make an edit. You know what I mean? You're allowed to just make an edit.
I'm not necessarily just being careful. I'm just like, I don't know.
But she does see, like, we do, like, you know, she's seen us kiss and she's seen us hug each other and hold hands. Like, she's seen it, but we don't.
Oh my God, are they still trying to make her celibate? Oh my God. I really hope you guys have dropped the thing about your kid being celibate. Your kid will be asexual if they want to be asexual or if they are asexual. You're not trying to make her celibate still, right, guys? You dropped that, right? You said you dropped it. In the Canadian documentary, you guys said you dropped that. You're not still trying to make her celibate, right? Is that why you're not kissing in front of her or hugging?
It's not like every day in her face.
Because it's an ascension energy, like you said.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's something we keep secret. And we keep
What?
just for us.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I love her.
So harmonious twin flame union is different from a healthy relationship in the sense that you don't feel comfortable kissing in front of your child. What? Because it's not ascension vibes.
Lovers.
Yeah, I'm getting really emotional about this conversation, and like this is like you're my most sacred relationship.
I don't know, y'all. I'm a therapist. I can usually tell when someone's getting emotional. He doesn't seem to be getting emotional. I'm not going to tell him he's not. I'm not going to speak over him in that regard, but I'm not getting any, whatever. Okay, whatever. I'm getting too wrapped up.
Relationship in my life other than God.
Yeah.
So like this is, we're talking about my most sensitive, subject in my life. So
Yeah, I understand. I'm sensitive about it too, but I also have autism, so I can just I can talk about it from like a matter of fact place, and
that's good. It's good.
yeah, because it's one of my special interests that I focus on. So yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, I believe that. I believe that. I mean, that's probably why you've been interested in this for so many years, and you got Jeff into it and so on, and that's great. One of you or both of you, though, has made a lot of bad decisions that's got you into the situation of having 3 documentaries about you and the Michigan Attorney General looking into you. So I would just focus on whatever went wrong that led to that. Is it the claims about healing PTSD? Probably it's a lot of different things.
yeah, I understand it. It is sensitive.
Just to be clear, if you just joined the stream, they are not being investigated because of the PTSD claims. It's a variety of things. And they executed warrants already. Things are going down for this couple. And that adds a lot of stress to any relationship. You know what I mean? I think we've all had times where us and our partners were getting investigated by the Attorney General, and it puts a little bit of stress on things. You know what I mean? So, okay.
It's a really beautiful and sacred part of our relationship, and yeah, and I think that's the part of twin flames that we all greatly desire and go after is the lover aspect of twin flames, because we know that there's something really important there for us. And I agree with that, and I believe that it's very true. And it's because that lover aspect with your twin flame, when done correctly, it draws you deeply into the divine. So, is there anything else we want to talk about with twin flames?
I mean, yeah, we got a whole bunch of
we covered a lot of it. The hardest moment in our relationship.
We didn't talk about that.
Stronger.
What's the hardest moment that you've ever had in our relationship?
Yeah, I didn't get much of that at all, you guys. Come on. You had to get her a dog or a cat or something? I really could have used a little more.
Oh, jeez.
Can you think of one?
Let me see. I know there has been.
This would be a nightmare for me, though. On camera, to be racking my brain for the hardest point in my relationship with someone, I'd be like, I need to think about that off camera, and I'll let you know what is able to be talked about.
Probably different for you than me.
What the first? So when I first read that, there was one moment that did pop up, and it was the moment. So we had been dating a year, and we had not yet achieved what we call harmonious twin flame
Just
union.
before HTFU.
We weren't quite.
HTFU. Okay, I forgot. Okay, just before HTFU. So there's a moment where HTFU happens. That sounds weird to me. You can believe in harmonious twin flame union. I just don't think there's a discrete point when it would begin. It seems like things are more sort of spectrum based in the natural world. But.
Harmonious at the core, yeah. There was still a back door in my mind that if this isn't going to work out, I'm out of here,
Oh, this is when you called Altona and said that you got a plane ticket out.
Because we were living in Hawaii.
And then you came climbing through my window.
Because,
and jumped me.
So what I didn't know, what we were discovering in the midst of discovering is
Sorry, what? I'm going to need a little more detail on that. I hope they come back to that.
So yes, we had the tools, the mirror exercise. We were getting our weekly coaching sessions with our spiritual mentor. But because there was no real guide...
Bets in the chat, what are the odds that either of them have ever seen a licensed mental health professional in their adult life? And I'm not trying to say that solves everything, but I don't like when people are totally against licensed mental health professionals and insist on going to unlicensed people who deal with very similar or adjacent topics. It seems like you can do both. You can go to your spiritual leaders, and you can also seek live in the world of society where we study the mind using methodologies and try to apply those through psychotherapy or forms of talk therapy or other things.
Twin flame guide on the internet. I had no idea.
Hold on. Wait a second. What?
So we had the tools, the mirror exercise. We were getting our weekly coaching sessions with our spiritual mentor, but because there was no real guide, twin flame guide on the internet, I had no idea really about the mirroring and the triggers and the challenges that come with twin flames. I just knew that this is a highly passionate relationship, and so naturally there's going to be highly passionate fights and disagreements and challenges.
Yeah.
And I was right. But it was twin flame. It was so I didn't know really what was going to be on the other side of this, because I just knew we're in conflict all the time. I don't like you, but I love you. And if this is going to be
that's not a healthy way to start a relationship. I'm not saying their relationship's unhealthy, but I wouldn't commit more if I'm feeling that way. I would sort of take it slow.
My past relationships where it does actually get toxic and unhealthy, I gotta leave. I can't be in this. I just won't. This is not what I signed up for.
You were so funny because I was not having this experience that you were. I thought it was hilarious that you thought that you were going to leave, because there was nothing in my mind that was like, this is the end of this. I'm just going to follow you because I want you. So
that was so sweet. Yeah, that was anyway. But
and then I got you a life-size teddy bear.
It was huge. It was from Costco. But I want to tell my story.
Okay,
you're jumping the gun.
Sorry, I just want to get
So my point was that because of the constant.
Just take a deep breath, Jeff. Practice some distress tolerance here. Calm the face muscles.
The triggering, the constant upsets. I just kept thinking we're always fighting, and I'm like, this can't be a healthy relationship. This can't be love. Although I do love him, but something doesn't feel right here. And when I talked to Altona, my spiritual mentor, she'd be like, just work through your upsets. You got upsets. You got a pad of paper and a pen. You know what to do. Write it down. Do your inner work.
Altona was Team Jeff.
And I was like, oh my god. But she did offer me. She's
Shaleia's spiritual advisor was Team Jeff. You know how my clients would feel if I was on the team of the person they were thinking about leaving? What?
It's if it really doesn't work out, she's like, you can fly back to Sedona and you can stay with me until you get your own place.
What? Your spiritual advisor? Oh my gosh. That's so sad. I wish there was better access to mental health care and housing. You know how many problems and personal problems would be resolved if you had good access to housing and you didn't have to worry about having a roof over your head? You know how many problematic relationships would be no longer a problem if people could just know that they would have a roof over their head somewhere else, know that they could get health care, know that they could get food on their plate? But the right wing doesn't want that. They want people to be forced into uncomfortable situations. But hey, we're not getting into politics here. We're talking about love.
And a part of me was grateful, I'm safe. I do have a way
And
out.
the reason the right wing doesn't want that, to be clear, is because the right wing supports private industry above all and believes that the state should serve private industry in a very traditional sense. So it serves the interests of private industry for people to be less free and more forced into specific situations through lack of access to healthcare, housing, food, shelter. I already said housing. So that's my point there. Anyways, back to love.
Out. But it felt like I was going to go back to Arizona with a tail between my legs. And I didn't like that feeling either. And then I knew.
But on the subject of this, I mean, what does it say about Shaleia that she was meeting with a spiritual advisor who was had no boundaries and was going to let her student or whatever move in with her? What? No boundaries, y'all.
Life would await me there, and I didn't want that life. I felt like I would be going backwards, and I didn't want to go backwards. I didn't want to start over again. I knew I completed my mission there. I needed to move forward. So I thought.
You can really tell that Jeff is looking at the recording of them on screen. So I'll show you what it looks like if I do that. This is me doing that, looking at myself.
Okay. What if I close that back door? Then what?
It actually is harder for you to tell because I'm not often looking in the camera at all. So it's actually a small difference for me live streaming. It's a bigger difference for them because they're looking in the camera. I've been told I should look in the camera more. Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm here talking to you. Okay, and so on. Okay.
Relationship agreement drawn up like a year prior that like we wouldn't just break up in an upset, that like if we had an upset we'd wait like 2 to 4 weeks or something, 30 days to kind of like protect our relationship and be like, we're not
That's interesting. Not going
to do something stupid because there is something really valuable here, and it would just be really immature to have a fight and then one of us walk out, and like we don't want to. That's not it. So
that's interesting to come up with a commitment like that. It reminds me of a commitment I think couples should do, which is if one of it, assuming that they're exclusive and not polyamorous, or it actually still is relevant if people are polyamorous, you can still cheat while you're polyamorous, but depending on the type of polyamory. But if you're talking about cheating and infidelity and so on, to be like, we're obviously not going to cheat on each other, but if that ever happened, let's promise to tell each other within 24 hours. But then again, how do you know if they would cheat on you? How do you know they would keep to that? But I do think it's good to talk about something like that, to be like, at least let's just tell each other quickly. But this is a funny idea, the idea that we don't. But how do you know like when that 30 days starts? When you feel upset? If you really wanted to break up, wouldn't you be like, no, I was upset 30 days ago and the 30 days are up?
Okay, we had that. And so anyway, I thought, okay, I'm just going to keep moving forward. And then it came to an apex where we got in a really bad fight and I decided I was leaving. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I can't handle this. This is like intense. This is like what all the twin flame talkers say on YouTube, like how awful and toxic it is, blah, blah.
By the way, if you think I've been harsh on them, I encourage you to reconsider. I've been harsher than I would if there weren't several documentaries about the way they treat people around them. But, and then obviously in a, state attorney general investigation. But, I'm not trying to be harsh. I know they're people and they deserve love and respect and happiness. But they also might have to make amends, because it seemed to me like they might have some things they have to make amends for. And this is not it.
Blah. And so I was sitting under a banana tree and I had my phone out and I'm like, okay, I think I'm just going to get a plane ticket and leave. And then I look up because I hear crunching on the grass and here comes Jeff walking towards me to go under the banana tree and sit down and tell me that he's never going to leave my side and that he's going to follow me wherever I go. And it was in that moment where I felt this huge relief, like this big burden, and be like, okay, like, I know you're not like a stalker, like an unhealthy stalker person. I know
it sounded really unhealthy.
It sounded bad, sure.
And I was like yelling at you.
On the outside, yeah. Oh
and then a woman like oversaw it and like messaged you later that day. It was like, okay, girl.
I'm like,
wow. Why were you yelling? What were you yelling? That you'll never leave her side?
Please, just we're figuring it out. Okay, like.
It was very passionate and romantic.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say this. I told you my previous understanding of twin flames from what I had heard when a client mentioned the concept to me and explained that it is often associated with like turbulence and almost like a destructive nature. Based on that definition of twin flames, I agree that they are absolutely twin flames. Now, I don't think that means they have to stay together. I don't think twin flames means you have to spend your life together. I think sometimes twin flame, maybe you just aren't meant to be together. You know what I mean? Maybe twin flame describes a certain type of relationship that can be healthy or cannot be if it moves past that phase and so on, which clearly they've moved past that phase. But that doesn't mean that things are healthy or unhealthy. There's a lot of other things you have to look at. But based on this, they were certainly twin flames back then, from my understanding of what twin flames mean. Does that mean that it's good that they stayed together? I don't know if their alleged victims would say that.
So under the banana tree, all this happened. Yeah. And then I realized, like, okay, like, I could, because we were twin flames, I knew what he was really communicating through his heart was that, like, wherever you go, like, I'm going to find you and I'm going to be with you because I choose you, you know. And I thought, yeah, okay, I surrender, like, we'll work through this. And we did. Like, we worked through our upset. I followed my spiritual mentor's advice. I did the mirror exercise. I loved myself where I was hurt.
Oh, so, okay, the mirror exercise was already a thing back then. Okay. So she's like, I was yelling at myself in the park.
And I felt better, and our relationship felt better. It got better. And it was in that moment under the banana tree when he said, I'll follow you anywhere. I'm never going to leave you. I love you. And I realized like I feel the exact same way. And
Okay, well, those are very romantic things. Usually they're said not yelling and not in the context of a fight. I mean, it's very romantic to say, I'll follow you anywhere, not in the context of a fight.
I'm not going to leave you either over a petty upset or several petty upsets. And they were petty. Like, nothing was actually like...
I don't remember what it was about.
Yeah, see,
I literally don't remember any of the upsets.
It wasn't like an actual deal breaker relationship, like physical abuse and shit like that.
Okay, that's not the only deal breaker in a relationship, though.
No, it was just normal upset stuff, like from couples, and especially when you're young and trying to figure it out. Like, there's a lot of like having
What did he just say?
abuse and shit like that. No, it was just normal upset stuff, like from couples, and especially when you're young and trying to figure it out. Like, there's a lot of like having to like smooth things out, you know. So I knew we achieved harmonious twin flame union in that moment. I knew it. I could feel the feeling. I knew that back door I had in my mind, it was forever closed.
Under the banana tree.
Under the banana tree, yeah, it was gone. And so then we like.
I feel like banana trees aren't that tall. Banana tree. Yeah, they're not that tall, but I guess they were sitting on the ground. Okay.
Held hands and walked back into the house, or we went for a walk. I can't remember. We walked somewhere. I think probably to the waterfalls, and just kind of talked all the way through. And then from that moment on, yeah, we had harmonious twin flame union. We were harmonious at the core. We had an understanding of each other and what we're about and what we agree to, and that is love first, and that it's healing first, and that all these challenges and so-called toxic traits that seem to be associated with twin flames, like, they do pass.
I want to say something, but it's rude, and I shouldn't say it. Okay.
When you are diligent about doing your inner work, and we were, and we had the support of our spiritual mentor, and she was, I have to credit her a lot. She really did help us through those very.
I would love to hear what the spiritual mentor thinks about how you've been running your organization. Can we get a quote on that?
The earliest year of our relationship, and we were able to take flight together. And in return, we have offered that gift to others. And now we have...
it's a gift that you pay for.
Ascension coaches now that also are spiritual mentors and spiritual guides for those who are on the twin flame ascension journey.
Quick question, Jeff and Shaleia. What % of the money that your ascension coaches make from each appointment do you get? What %? Because I heard some things and I wasn't sure.
And so in that moment, we achieved harmonious twin flame union, and we never looked back. And so in our hearts, we're very clear. We know when someone has harmonious twin flame union, and we know, if there's a union that is very close to harmonious
Even if all that's true, how would that make them know other people's experience?
twin flame union, and we know others that they need a little bit more time, and like that's okay. Like, you're still in the process of smoothing out your relationship, and like that's okay. There's definitely no hurry or rush. Take it at a compassionate pace for you.
I was just gonna say, there were 3 periods in our relationship that came up for me.
Yeah.
That they're not really like. One was what we already talked about, was losing my family.
Yeah.
And we were in that hotel, like, I'm looking over at you, like, all right, is this over, or
Yeah. I had no idea that you were thinking I'd leave you.
That was like the most obvious thing to me. Next.
That was not obvious to me at all.
Oh, Jeff, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I don't know, obviously, the history with Jeff and his family, but no one deserves to feel abandoned by their family, and that's really, really hard, and it does lead to unhealthy outcomes for folks, and families got to be nice to each other and make people feel loved and accepted.
There was that, and then
families are like any other relationship, except it's like really hard to leave, and like you really only leave if it's like abusive in most cases. So you're kind of forced to like get through more stuff together, but that puts a lot of pressure on things sometimes, and people are not obviously always kind to each other. But.
I don't have the baby. It was just like a ton of pressure on the relationship.
That was really hard.
Yeah, it was just like as soon as the water broke for a year, it was just like
I had an emergency,
all baby all the time.
Emergency C-section. So I went from like a planned home birth to an emergency C-section because after my water broke, my contractions stopped, and so like basically like the baby can become endangered after like if 24 hours of the water breaking and no contractions. Wow. And I didn't know I had autism at that time, and I was beyond like burnt out, stressed out by the time I went to the hospital.
That's so hard too if you're like really wanting to have a home birth and then you have to go to the hospital at the last minute. I can imagine that's extremely difficult and like such a hard decision to make in that moment, to like go against everything you expected and planned for and so on. But
I couldn't do it. And it was like 2 days of being in labor. I was just like, I couldn't do it. And the baby was under stress. They're monitoring her heart. So I went ahead and said, okay, yeah, let's do a C-section.
So it wasn't that, in itself. It was like all the weeks to come after that.
That
pressure,
too, though. Yeah, but I'm saying
that's that stage.
My birth really impacted my coming home and everything.
So we got some more content to. I'm trying to get to this question.
Right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff, come on. You could hang out a second while she talks about the birth, bro. You have to wait a second. Let's just kind of be patient. Let's practice patience.
So there was that, and then the unmasking, also extremely difficult, on me.
Yeah.
On you, okay. Okay, right. We shifted away from you for a second.
But at the same time, these were some of the most glorious times in our relationship. You talk about us attaining harmonious union. I talk about the moment where I knew
it doesn't have to be. Sometimes the bad moments are just the bad moments.
You were going to be with me.
Yeah.
And losing my family, and I talk about the moment we had our daughter, and I talk about the the moment where we realized you're autistic and you start unmasking, and
I don't know, did he talk about losing his family? I have a lot of questions. Actually, how did that happen, and what's wrong, and why can't you get back on good terms with them? Same for you, Shaleia. What's the problem? I mean, if they're are they abusive, or what's the problem? That's really sad to hear.
These are all, while they're our hardest moments in the relationship.
I understand if they don't want to share that stuff, but they're indicating that they're open to sharing.
For me, it was these are also some of the most beautiful moments. This is where we got a lot closer.
Our relationship is forged under these great challenges.
Mm-hmm. But you have to be ready. You're not going to be delivered a spiritual challenge unless you are spiritually ready for it. And you have to do your preparation work. Mm-hmm. God delivers them to you, and he delivers them to you when you're ready.
God's a dude. I see. Okay, God's a dude. God's a big old man with a big old man hair and face. God's a guy. Let me tell you one thing about God. That's a man. I honestly don't. I think if you're gendering God or spirit or the universe, you've lost me personally. But hey, that works for other people. So.
And once again, when you realize this mechanic, that you want to live a life with God, and that's what this is like, it's very compelling. It's very addictive because the rewards for this work are unbelievable. They're so addictive. They're so compelling and so fulfilling. Once you taste the divine nectar, you will want for nothing else. Mm-hmm. And once you drink of this eternal well, you will never thirst again. We talked about being so thirsty for, a romantic partner.
Yeah, I'm thirsty. I had 3 things of water and I ran out. Can you guys stop talking about drinking things?
And it's just, I don't thirst for that at all anymore. I have that. I'm completely,
Yeah, same. Satiated.
So we got some other cool things on here. What don't we show on social media? We talked about, what are some of the biggest myths about twin flames? This is that talks about your twin flame completes you.
I guess, yeah. I mean, what are the biggest myths? It's just giving ideas, yeah.
Wait, so the twin flame completes you is a myth. Okay, that's good. I asked that at the beginning. Okay, so their idea of HTFU, the way he just rolled that off earlier was so funny. Their idea of harmonious twin flame union does not mean the person completing you. It's just a harmonious union. Got it.
Well, I feel for one, everyone has a twin flame. Mm-hmm. I've gone into
That's a myth? Okay, that's a myth.
that so many times, I think, in this channel, but it always helps to, share that idea again. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I know where this misconception comes from.
That's a myth. Okay, well, and then I have a question, Jeff and Shaleia. Please comment on this video if you see it. I have a question. How many times did you tell one of the members of your group that they were one of the people that actually did not have a twin flame? I would be really curious to know. So if you're saying that not everyone has a twin flame, how often did you deliver the bad news to people who were coming to you, paying you money for services or going to pay you money, and you said, actually, you don't have to pay us any money, you're not someone with a twin flame? How often did that happen? I would love to know the answer, how many times that happened, or what percentage generally. Because, okay, if not everyone has a twin flame, fair enough. I can understand that. How often did you have to tell one of your followers, oh, you're one of the people without a twin flame, actually. I know you were ready to give us thousands of dollars to help you get into HTFU. Actually, you're one of the people without a twin flame, so save that money. How often did that happen? I'd be really curious.
144,000 twin flames, blah, blah, blah. It's not true. Everyone was created with a twin flame. If we weren't created with a twin flame, we wouldn't be romantically...
Oh, I misunderstood the whole time? Sorry, I just misunderstood. This is the problem with streaming. I thought they were saying it's a misconception. They're saying it's not a misconception? Sorry, I sound like a dummy. Okay, so everyone does have a twin flame. Okay.
And sexually inclined and attracted to a partner, a person. It just wouldn't be there. Yeah, and there's just many sources within sacred texts like the Bible and in Indian philosophy and in the Quran.
Indian philosophy. Okay, okay, I misunderstood. I wish you phrased it more clearly. So you're talking about myths and misconceptions, but this is not a misconception. Everyone does have a twin flame. Okay, great. Well then, it's ridiculous, but it's not a soulmate. It's different than a soulmate.
Quran, like it's everywhere where like God created you with another being. Your divine masculine.
I mean, she doesn't know the best example, which is that Greek playwright, Aristophanes, or maybe a different one. I forget. It's in the Platonic dialogue Eros. It's this famous story where he talks about people being separated into two and then conjoined. I'm sure they've heard about it. It's just a good one to reference.
You have a divine feminine. If you're divine feminine, you have a divine masculine. They got here. Yeah, like you're created.
What about non-binary folks? Y'all cool with non-binary folks? Why do you have to make everything like this?
With your counterpart. It's based off of the principle and law of polarity. So we all have a twin flame, and
I don't think the law of polarity applies to like our relationships necessarily in all ways.
You are in your birthright.
It does actually in certain ways, probably more complex.
To desire your twin flame and to have them in your life.
I'm really annoyed that I misunderstood that and went off for like a minute about that. It's really annoying. It's the risks of live streaming.
Twin flame union. Let me see.
Who made me do this?
Popular misconception. There's so many.
Well, it's that your twin flame completes you, but they don't. They're not going to fill the God-sized hole inside.
Okay, great. I asked about that. So you're not completed by your twin flame. You gotta get God to fill that hole.
You.
And it's because your twin flame, we just talked about this in our recent class, it's because your twin flame is not your source. Mm-hmm. When you like start treating them like they're your source of love and happiness and joy, like you quickly you miss the point.
I totally agree. In the sense of healthy relationships, your partner is not the source of everything, all your joy and everything. That's very important. It sort of shines a light on how harmonious twin flame union kind of keeps sounding just like another way to say love. Except you can't trademark love. I don't know if they trademarked Harmonious Twin Flame Union.
That they are not the source of your love and of your light, of the joy in your life, like God is. They're merely just a reflection of God's love and joy for you, but they are not the source of it. Don't confuse the two. That's what you call idol worship, which that's not where God lives. So the third misconception is that twin flames is innately a toxic relationship. As we've kind of detailed quite a bit in this video, it is not. It's not.
No, it's only toxic if you let it fester and don't do your work and try to make it into something that it's not.
Okay. Cool. That's fine and so on.
So I think the last thing I want to talk about here is how our twin flame union awakens other twin flames.
Yeah.
And it does happen like that. Like the closer you can get to a harmonious twin flame union and the vibration of it, the easier it's going to be to attract that into your life. And they say like you become the 5 people you're closest to. It would be really valuable if you became our student and became very close to us spiritually if you want your harmonious twin flame union, because you're going to get closer to us vibrationally, and our vibration is going to help you to attract your twin flame to you. I mean, we had a couple students, within a year ago move up here and be closest physically.
And they were both single when they came up here, and now they are both
in a relationship.
Why did they move to you physically, and did they do work for you, and did they get paid for it?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about that.
What do you know? They found their twin flame. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of those couples is in Harmonious Union now already.
One of them is in Harmonious Union very quickly. Only took 9 months.
Wow. So the solution isn't moved.
Oh my God. The idea of someone else telling me if I'm in Harmonious Union, I would I have a hard time with that, which is why I don't join groups like that.
No, that's not what we're saying.
The solution is follow your spiritual path and get spiritually close to this teaching and this community, and it will help you.
You come close in your heart. Mm-hmm. And that's how you get it.
Help you manifest your twin flame union, because
What up, Sophie Straw? Welcome to the chat. Congrats on the new apartment. That's dope. I'm happy we can help you unbox with content. Yeah, this has been really fun. We've been learning about relationships. It's been helpful because I did this whole video, you know, and yet I didn't learn about harmonious twin flame unions. Turns out they're pretty similar to relationships in general, but
the vibration that we hold and that we've instilled into Twin Flame Ascension School and our Twin Flames Universe spiritual community uplifts your vibration and helps you master this teaching so that you can sustain your harmonious twin flame union in your life.
Yeah.
So,
and so could a lot of other things, probably.
There was one other thing, I think, was like quick questions.
That was it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was all of them.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for another juicy podcast. It was so
That's
lovely
his thing. He says juicy, but now she says it. That's nice.
being with you. We will see you guys very soon in the next one.
God bless.
God bless. Namaste.
Namaste.
I watched some video yesterday and they were talking about how namaste actually means like what's up, apparently. In it's Sanskrit. Okay, it means I bow to you. Apparently in someone was saying it's used like to normally just mean like what's up. I think I might be getting that wrong, but they were saying it's funny that, you know, yoga classes say it at the end because it's like not how it makes sense. Okay, so we learned about relationships. And so we learned a lot today, right? I think we learned a lot. I think we learned about love and about our hearts and our souls. And I'm really glad that I could follow up on my video and, you know, really get deeper into relationships here. So thanks for watching, y'all. I'll make this, I'll keep this up on the channel and so on. And have a good rest of your day, rest of your life. Until I see you next. Feel free to join the Patreon and the memberships if you want to check out the private pod episode I'll do on Sunday and the next one after that. And if not, I'll catch you on the flippity flop. And I hope you all are in love if you want to be, or you're on the right track. I know you're on the right track. You know what I mean? Just keep at it. You don't need to pay anyone to teach you how to fall in love, but sometimes you do have to, you know, work on yourself and so on. But okay, bye. Thanks for